This video contains information that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are a viewer and are triggered or shocked by images and need a warning prior to every clip or story being discussed, then please unsubscribe from my channel immediately. My channel covers the harsh reality of even the worst crimes imaginable and is for adults only. For those of you who fit into this category, take this message as your warning and don't watch any further. Yeah, I make myself crack up. That's right. How's everybody going? Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Yeah, here's the all the freaks wearing the gear. Look at that. Yeah, Gritty Gret sent me a case, and it was weird because I was looking it up. I just took the name and started looking it up, and then a lot of the stuff's in the same link that she gave me, but it was weird how I went down the same rabbit hole that the link did. Because your mind just wants to do that. All right. Oh, by the way, you guys all realize Antifa's not... They're exactly the opposite of what their moniker stands for, right? I just hope people realize that nobody out there respects what they're doing, okay? I want everybody to realize that they're not a good thing. Let's see. Here we go. So here I'm going to... Today's D-Day, June 6th, 1944. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the footage of what happened over there. Yeah, it's just so brutal. The guts that those people had, and the absolute terror they must have had to storm those beaches. You know, they say 10,000 people died, but confirmed 4,000. Some odd, 4,400 and something. And on that mountain back there, they just, the Nazis just had their damn machine guns just mowing people down. And it was just sheer numbers that allowed people to get to the cliffs and eventually make it over. And like if you ever watched Saving Private Ryan, that's exactly how it was. It's just brutal. I mean, bullets hitting the door, like this door right here that flips open, this one right here. You have bullets hitting that damn thing. And, the first people there know they're going to get hit by them. I mean, it's just insane. And you can just see, you know, there's already people not alive over here. Just, it's unreal. So they are the greatest generation. There's no doubt about it. I mean, those guys went all the way over to Europe to stop the progression of the Nazis, and this day is actually what turned the tide of the war. It was like a really good, well-kept secret that they were going on that day, and boom, right? I don't have all the details of it. I just know what I know throughout the years. Yeah, so there you go. The heroes. Sometimes you wish you could go back to the way people were back then. Now everybody, you know, not everybody, but there's so many just shitty people, you know. Let's see. Hey, thanks, Billy Boy Blue. Well, we know there's at least 15% of the population are horrible people, according to an individual who shall go nameless. Billy Boy Blue, he needed the money. Ooh. All right, now, hey, I was talking to Cairo earlier, and I found some of my pictures of my other dog that you guys never got to meet. His name was Rocky, but he was one of the cutest dogs in the history of the planet. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a couple pictures. All right, he was a Pomeranian. Look at that. That was when he was kind of like a younger dog, right? And then let's see. This was a little bit younger. I mean, older than that when his hair grew out. But then I started giving him the cool boo, you know, the short haircut like the lion. All right, so here's another one when he's kind of about then. He needed a haircut at this point. But after this time, he didn't ever have, like he never had his hair long again, okay? So this was the look he had all the last years of his life. Look at that thing. I mean, come on. That was the cutest dog in the history of the planet, man. He was just, he looked like a little Ewok, all right? He had the lion cut going on. That was his name was Rocky. Yeah, he was amazing. You could just sort of put him however you wanted, and he'd just stay in that position. He didn't care. Yeah, the short hair is way cuter for some reason. It was amazing. This one lady always cut it that same way.
Hello.
Thank you, Darrell Greggs. Yeah, he was a cool dog. Yeah, I didn't really do that. Tote him around or anything. He liked to eat food. Yeah. So, okay. So I've got two cases. The reason it says... Oh, there goes my stomach. The reason it just says Dressler on there is because I was looking at... I'm doing one case that Gritty Gret sent me. And then doing that, I stumbled upon another case of a killer with that last name. In the case she sent, that's the victim's name. And I just thought, wow, what a weird juxtaposition. So So it just says Dressler as the title. Okay. All right. Now the first case that we're going to talk about is they're both interesting, and nobody say, oh yeah, I've heard of these, okay? Because you haven't. All right. So here we go. Joseph Dressler, 1978, and this is a victim in this case here. So here's how it all went down. Illinois authorities continued their search today for two men who abducted a Mascoutah, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, banker Monday and set the victim and his car on fire. Joseph H. Dressler, 34, vice president of Mascoutah Bank and Trust Company, remained in critical condition with burns over 75% of his body. William R. Barrett, agent in charge of the Fairview Heights office of the Illinois Division of Investigation, said there is speculation that a second car was involved in the abduction. The other car may have been parked on Jefferson Road about 5 miles southwest of Mascoutah, near the place where Dressler's 1978 Buick was found burned. Yeah, now down here, these neighbors. So I've actually mapped it all out. So let me get to that case here. Hold on. Yeah. So he was at like an event at this park, some sort of homecoming event. And as he was leaving, two men kidnapped him. Or not really kidnapped him, but forced him at knife point, apparently, to drive to another location, which is over here. And it's weird, you know, some of the witnesses and everything, they still live at the same address from 1978. It's pretty crazy. Hey, thanks, Rochelle Black. So Orville A. Kinzel, a farmer who lives in Jefferson Road, told the Post-Dispatch that he had just retired for the evening, about 10:30 p.m., when he heard Dressler screaming for help. Let me turn this down a little bit. I got it too high. Yeah, I had it way too high. My wife Bernice looked out the window and saw Dressler's car on fire. I got up and ran to my pickup truck and drove out to the road, telling my wife to call the fire department. As I got close to the road, Dressler was staggering towards me. I had a glove in the truck, and I used it to pat out the fire. He had fire on his shoulders, and his trousers were burned off everywhere except around his waist. He told me two kids had put a knife on him, so that he had enough. He was still awake at this time. He said two kids had put a knife on him and wanted his money. He told me he did not know the kids and he did not have a lot of money, but he didn't say how much he had. Hey, thanks, Belinda. Authorities found his empty billfold beside the car on the road. They also found the gas can. So you know those people touched the gas can. I wonder if they stored that and that they could lift some prints, maybe some sort of DNA off of it if they didn't mishandle it. Yeah. In Mascoutah, is that how you say it? Mascoutah? Or is it Mascoutah? Or somebody phonetically type it in. If you really know, don't pretend that you know and type it in. Mascoutah, okay? All right. A Mascoutah banker who was abducted from the Mascoutah homecoming celebration a week ago and then was robbed and set on fire died earlier Saturday. So this is the 13th now. The he only lived like about a... Well, it's sad, too, because when you're a burn victims like this, sometimes live for a week in probably the worst pain that you could ever imagine, and then they die. It's horrible. Came to surf. Where's the donation wave? Well, it's... I don't know. I'm not the one.
Came to surf, where's the donation wave?
Yeah. So, a hospital spokesman said that Joseph Dressler, 34, had been in extremely critical condition ever since he was brought to the hospital with second and third degree burns over 90% of his body. 5 agents of the Illinois Division of Investigation are working on Dressler's case, but have no major leads at this time. Thank you, Sarah Beth Colagras.
Wave, wave, wave.
Let's see. Funeral services for Dressler, vice president of the Muscuda Bank and Trust Company, will be at 1:30 p.m. Monday. Eugene H. Harris, president of the bank, said that Dressler had become an absolute pillar of the community in the 5 years since he'd moved to Muscuda, about 30 miles southeast of St. Louis. Hey, thanks, Raven and Miss Skiss. Yeah, he was born in Yugoslavia, by the way.
Okay, Kit Kat, tears of joy, throwing kisses, wave, 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 wave.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Crashing wave sound, CACSSSSSSSHHHHHHHFFFFF.
Wow, I've never heard a wave that sounded like that, but okay. Thanks, Zozo. Wow, you guys did do a little wave there. It's like almost. I should almost be playing this one.
I'm tired of it, not 10 down, 15, all of I better dang bear on 15, I better dang bear on 15,
Gnarly
20, I
tides,
better dang bear on
dudes.
15, better dang bear on 20, now
What
5,
the
better
heck?
dang bear on 30, and 30, and 30,
Gnarly
25,
tides.
better dang bear on 30, you want to bet 30, sir, 25 of them, you're out, I better dang bear on 25, better dang bear on
Gnarly
30, 30, now
tides,
5,
dudes. Oh, come on. Oh, well, thank you, Gloria Batari. That one almost came before it even got here. I'll just wait a second. You guys are so... The generous freaks at work. Thank you, Half Rudder. Linda Howell, as in Linda Molden Howe in the cattle mutilations. Sarah Beth Colagrass, Lori Staggs, Gloria Batari, Tammy Sutherland, Sooner History, Zozo, Curious Georgia,
Bam,
Miss
bam,
Skiss,
wop,
Raven.
wop.
And you too, David Myers. Tonight on NBC.
Wow, they're so nice. I mean, gee. The
Surf's
freak.
up.
Oh, what? Oh, surf's up. Okay, yay.
Ding 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 ding. Thank you, Brandy Alexander.
Emily Flotilla is ignoring me. Lol, tears of joy.
Hey, see, it said flotilla. Oh, it did say flotilla. That's correct. Not flotilla. Darn it. Okay, you're right. You guys, Streamlabs got it right. Thanks.
You are the best.
Jessica Schubach. You guys are nice. All right, here we go. Well, he actually was born in Yugoslavia, moved to Germany, came to the United States in 1951. Okay. Some crazy shit, though, in this one. Curious Georgia. Have my babies, he said. Oh, wow.
Shark, shark, wave, wave.
Billy Boy Blue. Thanks, Half Rudder.
Surfing the waves.
Man, it's like a slot machine here. Watch tomorrow. Gray, you gotta turn off the thing. I mean, I come here and I wanna watch. Well, too bad, okay? Because one of the most important things we do is at the end of the year.
For the greatest generation, wave, wave, wave.
Or a month, I mean, we donate money. Okay, a lot of money. So, thank you, Carolina. Maybe that one's through Streamlabs. Correct.
Joining the wave.
Man, this thing just never stops. It just keeps on clicking away. Generous freaks.
Ill ride the wave, spouting whale.
Man, it's like there's so many Streamlabs has a ton backed up or something.
Curious Georgia, have my babies.
Jeez. Oh boy. He's in trouble now. He's in trouble now. Oh god, here we go. Here he comes Billy Boy Blue. Anyways, thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. Oh, and there's Lori Staggs.
Kit Kat is the hottest chick in that chat, though.
Thank you, Lori Staggs. And Sooner History. Very cool. For all the ones that complain. Yeah. I could tell that was going to come. I didn't want to start a sentence. You know, on a local sports channel, they were playing the 1977 Blazer Championship game. There's only 27 seconds left, but I came to do my show. Yeah, pretty much, Brandy. Pretty much.
For all the ones that complain, heart exclamation.
Choo choo, baby. Thanks, Sooner History. Okay, so, you know, just remember this guy is like a 35-year-old banker living in this small town. He has a wife, a couple kids. He's doing really well. He's an immigrant.
Choo choo, baby.
Yugoslavia, lived in Germany. And 1951 he came over. And he was able to tell the police some information. Alright. Okay, yep. Definitely be doing some money to Texas EquiSearch. Probably at least 500 at the end of the month. So
For Texas EquiSearch, Tim is the best.
Yeah, he's cool. we might even have to do a full-on Texas Equisearch one. Sounds like they're struggling a little bit. Can't have them struggling out there. They're too important. Yep, the Freak family is awesome. Hope I don't ever let you guys down, you know. I'm sure everybody makes mistakes sometimes. Who knows, you know. But even if I do, just realize, and don't worry, there isn't something that I'm like, oh wow, here comes something. I'm just literally saying I always feel nervous, like, God, what if I say this or that, the wrong thing? Oh, you got your mug. Sweet. Hey, all right. Charlie Girl Says is a Megazoid. You want riot and loot? Oh, cool. Excellent. Broke the internet.
You can't be tired yet of Kit Kat's wave.
Oh, I'm not tired of it. And there's Linda Howell. Linda Howell, Charlie Girl Says, Kika Keys, Sooner History, and Linda Howell.
Love the Freak family, heart, heart.
Yeah, you know, I still think one of the craziest memories that I have is that it was just a couple months ago. Somebody also put a video out recently of the top 5 cases solved this year, and it had the Peggy, I can't remember her last name, the 1968 case or something like that of the Girl Scout that was killed in her tent and while her tent mate was in the infirmary. And we covered it on a day, and then I put the video on private, took out the part on that case only to make a standalone video, and then did a premiere. And then while I was doing that premiere, I don't remember if that was Gritty Gret or whoever the hell it was that said, I think it was her, said, hey, there's some DNA, they found DNA a while back. And I was like, oh really, wow, that's weird. And then I did a search on that. I go, oh really, let me go look. So while it was live premiering, I just did a search, and
Don't
then
be
the
too
case
hard
was
on
solved.
yourself, Grey wave, 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 wave.
The case was solved 2 hours ago when I did that. It was the weirdest shit I've ever seen. I actually get chills when I tell the story. It's a weird one. Thank you, Miss Giss. David Myers, thank you very much. Baby Sunshine and Billy Boy Blue. It really was amazing. Like, if you were in that chat when it happened, you would have freaked
down
out.
to riot and loot for some Grey Hughes merch. Oh wait, I already have it all.
Thank you. But that was just such a crazy moment. I mean, a case that hadn't been solved in 50-something years gets solved the day after we cover it.
Hippie hippie shake joining the freak wave.
And the only reason we knew about it was because I did a live premiere and just happened to look up again. It was so weird. Yeah, it was just one of the weirdest things ever. You're hijacking Streamlabs. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Billy Boy Blue and Maybe Sunshine. Yeah, well, it was more just, it was cool that it was solved, but it was just the timing of that. Like, I didn't see one video ever on YouTube on that case. And there was one today that I watched. They covered 5 unsolved cases, and that was one of them. But I had to put the story in the comments because it was like, I mean, what are the odds of that? I think not. Boom, boom.
Grey, we are hijacking Streamlabs for a while.
That's right, that's right. Yeah. I don't have a picture of this guy for some reason. Couldn't find any anywhere of Joseph Dressler. But this is back in 1978. Here is what his car looked like. This model right here. Okay. And after it was burned, it looked like this. I mean, it was, the doors were still locked. They weren't even sure how the hell he got out of the vehicle. Okay. But let's see down here. It says, he was extremely friendly. Dressler was able to give police the following account of the assault. Shortly after 10 p.m. last Sunday, he was leaving Sheave Park, where the homecoming was held. And that park is right here. Sheave Park. You know, I don't know what exit or anything like that. Well, thanks, Curious Georgia and Michelle Nicholas. And we've had a couple weird things like that on cases where I'm going through it, and at the very end I say, hey, let's check YouTube or Google. And then it goes, oh, it was solved 2 months ago, and, you know, DNA.
Sorry, just want the haters to have to skip to min 33 to 55.
All right. That's right. Now, listen, everybody.
God, Gray's show didn't even start till 33 minutes. That's so mean. I come here to do what I want.
Hey, listen, he does a show where it's just going over cases on the air. It's not a short video about a case.
I know, but I just want to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Mary Lou nailed it, didn't she? Mary Lou absolutely nailed that one. I mean, we'll get to it, okay? We're gonna get to it, all right? It's a show, though, for God's sakes. It's not a one-off video that takes 10 minutes. All right? If you don't like my show, then don't watch it. Figure out a way to fast forward it or something. You know, you'll figure it out, okay? All right, schnookums? All right, great. Yeah, so anyways, it was at this park right here. Shortly after 10 p.m. last Sunday, he was leaving Sheave Park, where the homecoming was held, when two men approached him, one brandishing a knife. They forced him into his 1978 Buick and made him drive about 6 miles to a secluded spot on Jefferson Road, southwest of town. They said they wanted his money. He said that he had no big money on him and gave them what he had. Then the men poured gasoline on him, on the car, forced him inside, and set fire to the car. You know, I actually think that this was a hit as opposed to just two idiots trying to get some money. I think it was a hit, and hey, why not? Let's see what kind of, if he has any money as well. There's no way in hell. This is just too brutal for it not to be. Like, why would you even do that? You know? There'd be no reason to do it. I mean, I guess if they lived in that same small town too, but it just seems way overkill. Like, it almost feels like somebody wanted him to suffer. Thank you, Jody William. Yeah, it is exhausting. It really is. It's frustrating.
Must be exhausting. Have to go over this, how my show works each time.
You guys, here, let me show you just for the hell of it, just to support what you're saying there. Here, let me go on to last night's show here. It's great. It's freaking awesome. Hold on a second. For days and days. Look at this idiot on here. All right, here we go. Unsubscribing. You interrupt and talk too much. Hey, idiot, it's a show, okay? It's a freaking show. That's what I do. I mean, I'm talking. How do I interrupt myself? You know, it's impossible. Okay, but thank you all for the supportive comments in there. Good stuff, good stuff. It's just weird. Like, what makes somebody think that they need to say it? How about you just do this? Unsubscribe and don't tell me anything. I don't care. I really don't. I don't care why. Nobody does, as a matter of fact. It just makes it's funny. All right? So there you go. Okay, he said that he had no big money on him and gave them what he had. Then the men poured gasoline on him and on the car, forced him inside, and set fire to the car. So that just seems like way overkill if you're just trying to rob somebody. Now, if they lived in that small town, they might have thought they had to kill him, but really, it just... something feels more like a... like they went there, took him there to kill him. Why didn't they just take the money elsewhere? It's bizarre. So it was 6 miles away. They had him drive all the way out to here. And apparently these guys still own that house. Or, well, they did. It's the only house these two people ever owned. I don't know if they're still alive. But Orville and Bernice Kinzel. And she said she could see the car burning from the bedroom window. And I'm not sure if that's like right there. You know, it's hard to know for sure. So I'm just making a guess that it's out here on this. And it was out into the field a little bit too. So they actually made him drive out there. And I don't know where it was, if it was over here. But, you know, he got into his truck. So if you're looking at that, maybe that's the bedroom. And he got into his truck, drove around, and went out. So I would imagine he probably just went like this, boom. And, you know, could have even been over here. It's hard to say. Let's see. A gasoline can was found at the scene. Oh, let me go. Let's get through this other part again. Orville A. Kinzel, a farmer who lives on Jefferson Road, told the Post-Dispatch that he had just gone to bed when he heard Dressler screaming for help. He looked out a window and saw the blazing car, told his wife to call the fire department, and drove to the car in his pickup. He found Dressler staggering towards him with what remained of his clothing, just a bit of fabric at the waist and on the shoulders, still in flame. A gasoline can was found at the scene. In the homecoming parade Saturday and Sunday, Dressler had driven a model of an antique automobile that belongs to the bank, and he had reportedly had some trouble starting it. For that reason, investigators believe he might have purchased extra gasoline. It has not been determined whether whether the can belonged to Dressler. So they're not really sure about that. Area hospitals are being checked on the possibility that one or both of Dressler's assailants also suffered burns when they ignited Dressler's car. I think I keep saying Dressler. It's Dressler. Barrett of the Illinois Bureau of Investigation, he said the agents working on the case had viewed it as attempted murder. Now that Dressler is dead, if arrests are made, the charge will be murder. We'll commit all the manpower we need to solve this thing, provided we get the leads we need. Harris, the bank president, said that $3,500 had been raised as of Saturday towards a $5,000 fund. Let's see. All right, let me move on to the next article. This one was from August 8th. Or actually not 8th, this is the 13th. And then the 15th. Special phone lines were set up for people to call in. No real new information in there, but I just downloaded that anyways. Now here's what's weird is there's kind of like no information really, and then all the way in November of 1978, 3 months later, Joanne I don't know how you spell that. How do you think you pronounce that? Huenger or Juenger? Juenger. If you'd like me to pronounce it correctly, then write it in there phonetically if you really know how it's pronounced. If not, don't type anything. Juenger. Like Huenger, maybe? Junger? You sure? Younger? Okay. I'll just say younger then. Joanne Junger. How about Junger? Joanne Junger, 15, of Muscuda, was certified Thursday to stand trial as an adult on a charge of murder in the burning death of Muscuda banker Joseph Dressler. Authorities said Dressler was abducted and at knife point as he was leaving the Muscuda homecoming celebration August 6th and was driven to a rural area a few miles away where he was doused with gasoline in his car and set afire. Investigators believe that 2 male youths committed the murder and that Miss Junger accompanied them. She now could get a minimum sentence of 20 years in prison. The maximum punishment for murder for juvenile is confinement to juvenile center until age 21. Yeah. So anyways, what it turns out with her was that she claimed that there were 6 people that were, she was the driver and there were 6 people involved. And then when police investigated, 3 of them had alibi, they ruled them out. 2 of them they never found, which was it's still mildly interesting. And then one of the other ones they couldn't prove or disprove. And then they gave her and then she was about to stand trial, and on the eve of trial, basically, they gave her a lie detector test. She passed the lie detector test, and they actually believe that she had nothing to do with it at all. She's one of those people that likes to insert herself into cases, and she just wasn't telling the truth at all, which is kind of weird, right? And here's that right here. Joanne Junger, 15, was freed Thursday after prosecutors decided she probably had nothing to do with the burning death of Muscuda banker Joseph Dressler last August. Jury selection had begun Monday in the murder trial of the Muscuda girl, who had been certified as an adult. State's Attorney Clyde L. Kuhn said Miss Junger passed a lie detector test Wednesday, indicating she did not drive a car to the rural area where Dressler was burned and did not know the names of 2 youths Dressler said poured gasoline over him and set him afire. He died 6 days after the incident. Statements Miss Junger gave investigators saying she participated in the murder are now thought to have been lies. Hearing to be held on detention. So the thing is they did keep her in prison for a while, or jail anyways, for other charges. They must not have liked her very much, but they really... let's see. Chief Judge Joseph Cunningham of St. Clair County Circuit Court on Tuesday ordered a hearing as soon as possible for a 15-year-old Muscuda girl. Her attorney says she is being held illegally by the Illinois Department of Correction. Anyway, they kept her in jail on other charges. Let me see if this one explains it right here. Just a second. There we go. So Illinois authorities have reaffirmed their decision to keep 15-year-old Joanne Junger of Muscuda in custody, even though they have dropped charges that she participated in the killing of Muscuda banker. The Prisoner Review Board revoked on Monday her parole on a juvenile offense that occurred before she was charged in the banker's death. Ms. Junger is being held at a state youth center. Okay. So then, I was interested in her at that point. I went, God, man, she seems like a piece of work, right? So I look her up. I keep tracking her down in newspapers.com. And then we move all the way to 1987. A South Dakota man was killed and 4 members of his family injured in a head-on collision Tuesday near Hannibal in northeast Missouri. A Missouri Highway Patrol spokesman in Macon said that a westbound car driven by Joanne Junger, 24, of Monroe City, crossed into the eastbound lane of U.S. Highway 36 and collided with an eastbound car driven by Edgar Chamber, 72, of Yankton, South Dakota. Junger suffered head and shoulder cuts. She is listed in satisfactory condition. She was ticketed for driving while intoxicated. Chamber was pronounced dead on arrival at St. Elizabeth Hospital. His wife, Ruth, 72, suffered internal chest injuries and was listed in critical condition Wednesday. Diane Chamber, 37, suffered a fractured arm and jaw. I mean, look what damage this idiot did to the... I mean, you know what? It makes you sort of wonder, was she still looking for attention on this one? And could it be more than just, oh, I was drunk, okay? Because she was looking for attention on the other one. How do we know she didn't drink and that gave her the courage to intentionally create this accident to get more attention? Because that's what they determined, is that's what she was looking for. Diane Chamber, 30. Now listen to the damage that she did to the rest of the people in this vehicle. Diane Chamber, 37, suffered a fractured arm and jaw in addition to facial cuts. Naomi Chamber, 14, suffered a fractured jaw, facial and abdominal cuts. Lenan Chamber, 5, suffered a severe head injury in addition to a fractured jaw and facial cuts. Jeremy Chamber, 12, was listed in stable condition in the intensive care unit with an eye injury and neck and back cuts. Man, what an idiot. Yeah, well, it turns out she did get sentenced to, I think it was something like 2 years in prison for that. She had like a blood alcohol level of 0.14, so almost twice the legal limit. Yeah, so let me just read this. A decade has passed. This is another article back on The Banker. A decade has passed since Orville and Bernice Kinzel were startled awake by the screams of Joseph Dressler, a Muscuda banker who was abducted and set on fire inside his car, but the case is still unsolved. The Kinzels had just gone to bed on August 6, 1978, when they heard the screams from their bedroom window. The couple saw a car engulfed in flames. Bernice Kinzel called for help as Orville Kinzel jumped into his truck and drove to the burning car. When I got up there, he was 2 or 3 rows deep in the bean field, running towards me, yelling, "Help me, help me." Orville Kinzel said, "It was the worst thing I'd ever seen. I didn't know what was coming towards me. I helped him all I could, but there wasn't much I could do for him except comfort him till the ambulance got there." Dressler had first, second, and third-degree burns over 90% of his body. He slipped into a coma the day after the attack and died August 12, 1978, at St. John's Mercy Hospital in St. Louis. Dressler, 34, was vice president of the Muscuda Bank and Trust. He and his family had been at the Muscuda homecoming that evening, where after riding in the parade, Dressler took his wife and 2 children home. He returned to the homecoming where he was to escort Queen candidates, but he never performed the duty. From Dressler's dying words, Illinois State Police detectives were able to piece together what they believe happened. Dressler said 2 boys had abducted him at knife point from the site of the homecoming. The boys apparently forced Dressler to drive to a site between Muscuda and Freeburg. Authorities believe Dressler was robbed, then inside and outside of the car drenched in gasoline and set afire with Dressler locked inside. However, police still are puzzled about the victim's escape from the car, since its doors were found locked. And it probably jumped out the window. 2 days after Dressler's death, a 15-year-old Mascuda girl came to the attention of authorities after telling friends she was involved with the burning death, police said. On September 22nd, 1978, the girl Joanne Junger was taken into custody. She told authorities she drove the getaway car for 2 youths. You know, one thing that did cross my mind is, what if it was some weird suicide thing and the entire story about 2 guys was made up? It doesn't sound like it, because why would he be yelling for help? But, you know, he has his own gasoline, and, you know, I mean, it's very low odds of that, but I'm just saying, you got to throw it in there. Because that would explain, like, how he wasn't actually in the car or something like that. He wasn't in and then came out. So, I mean, I guess that's a possibility, right? Now, how about this one? Now, listen, right when you thought the story was crazy, right? His wife actually got remarried, okay, to a guy named, let's see, hold on, what the hell is this guy's name? I didn't write it down. Last name is Sindler, okay? Sindel, excuse me, S-I-N-D-E-L. And look at this craziness. And so they got married, and I think he already had children. And look at this one. A Clinton County coroner jury ruled Monday that a charge of reckless homicide should be filed against Daniel Sindel, 19, of Mascuda, following the death of a passenger in his car. The charge is a Class 3 felony, punishable by a jail term of 2 to 5 years and a fine of $10,000. On November 4th, Sindel was westbound on I-64 near Damiensville exit when he struck a parked car along the shoulder of the road, killing James Bergman, 18, of Fairview Heights. Bergman died of massive chest injuries. I mean, don't you think this is weird? Like, now the new son-in-law also kills somebody with drunken driving. And then a guy that was associated with your first husband's death for a while also killed somebody like that. It's just crazy to me. And so I was glad I just kind of looked up all the family members and everything. But I'll be back in a minute. Hit the damn like button, everybody. Hit the damn like. Hit the like button. 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 Like button.
30 now 5. I'm 35.
Or hit the dislike button. I don't give a shit. There's always the idiots at the end of, you'll do a show on how Bambi was saved by a rabbit. And they'll have 38 dislikes. Okay? So it doesn't even, it doesn't matter. I appreciate you hitting the dislike button, though, because it's actually valuable. It means that you engaged with the channel. So I appreciate it. If you're trying to actually hurt the channel, you wouldn't hit it at all. You would pretend that you didn't do anything. It's called an engagement. I hope you realize that. I guess I shouldn't have told that secret. Oh, well. They're just too stupid to actually realize it, I guess. Yeah, but didn't you find that a little bit weird? That is new. And I want to, here's my conspiratorial mind on this case a little bit. I guess I would say maybe they should see how quickly they got married. And then see if there's anything, it's just really weird, the burning part. Why would you burn this guy and kill him in his vehicle? Doesn't make a lot of sense. You're going to go all that way just to steal a couple dollars? Burn somebody? I mean, I know that happens, but not as much back then. That's more like a now thing. I don't think it really needs a flowchart. To be honest with you, it's pretty, not a lot of stuff there. It was just that she got remarried again to a guy, and his son also killed somebody drunk driving, just like the girl who they dropped the charges against did, and it was within a year of each other. 10 years later, they both kill somebody drunk driving. That just seems... The odds of that are so low, Yeah, you think so? I don't know. What made you think anything about the wife? I read that other article that you sent. I didn't see anything suspicious about the wife. I noticed that article, though, tracked exactly. Like, I just went with your name, the name that you gave me, and then I read the article later, and it was like, oh, look at that. They even looked into her, saw that she had a... They didn't find the article on Sindel, though. Yeah. Well, that's his stepson now. So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I wish I wonder if he described what they look like to any, the police when they talk to him. Now, William's saying lightning struck twice, talking about what we're talking about, Jennifer Smith. Were you not paying attention? William says, lightning struck twice. And she goes, where? Where, William? Where? Well, that two people involved in this case killed somebody drunk driving. I'm not saying when I say involved, I just mean family members. And then one's just a suspect. Gray, you're so mean. You're so rude to your subs.
Oh, golly, golly, golly.
Yeah. How do I know who's a sub or not? It's like I just say whatever I feel like saying when I see something that's weird. Yep. So mean. Oh my God. Sarah Beth said I was so mean. What does that mean? Does that mean I have to go into here before I go to the next story, which is way longer? The next story is... I've never heard of it. It's a solved case, but... Wow, you know. Let me out. Yeah. It's not even that mean. I'm just goofing around. Like, he wasn't really saying lightning hit twice. Okay? Yeah, thanks a lot, William. Jeez. Ooh, I got a public defender. Sarah Beth Colagras. That is a public defender. Alright, I'll get out of there. Oh, and there's Miss Skis and Christina Kubicek. That gave me the cab ride home. I got, ooh, wow, now I was able to upgrade to a different attorney. Michelle Nicholas made it so I could get like a, you know, little step up, a little bit above like Kurt Nermy or something. Thanks, Sapphire.
To your commissary rolling on the floor laughing tears of joy.
Tears of joy.
Bail money tears of joy party popper.
Thank you,
Bail
Gene
money.
Fish. Yeah, this is a weird one here, everybody, coming up. The long one.
Free Grey.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I think too, Miss Gus. All right, here we go. This is 1990. Never heard of this one. Yeah, here we go. So here we go. Investigators plan to confer with police in Illinois to determine if a recent slaying was related to the killing of an environmentalist whose body parts were found in rural Racine County. Racine County Sheriff's Lieutenant James Ivanovsky said his department had asked authorities in Lockport, Illinois for information to determine whether the cases are related. The head, arms, legs, and torso of Sonia Rao, probably, 23 of Lockport, Illinois, were found Monday individually wrapped in plastic bags in a garbage truck. Well, it turns out in that case, I looked that one up, that was her husband who did that. A disposal company notified police after a leg fell from a garbage bag as one of its trucks were compacting trash it had collected in front of the woman's house. Rao's husband was questioned by police and released. Later on, he was arrested and convicted of her murder. Lockport, with a population of 9,100, is about 18 miles southwest of Chicago near Joliet, Illinois. Authorities in Racine said their investigation showed that James Madden, 24, of Whitefish Bay, and you guys remember Whitefish Bay? That's in the song Edmund Fitzgerald.
Searchers say they'd have made Whitefish Bay if they put 15 more miles behind them.
Hey, not too bad, Mary Lou, not too bad.
Yeah, anyways, that's the Whitefish Bay right there. Hey, come on, every once in a while, you know, this shit is so dark. You know, you got to throw a couple jokes in there. As long as it's not related to the victim, right? Okay, all right. Here we go. From what we have at this point, it appears that this is a localized incident, that he ran into a psychopath, and that the psychopath killed him and cut him up, Ivanovsky said. Madden had been walking door to door soliciting contributions for citizens for a better environment. You know what's weird is I did something like that, almost the same time frame in Oregon, you know, like I was in Oregon. So I know what it's like to do what he is doing. It was like, I think mine was like 1988 for something called Willamette Citizens or some shit like that. And it was absolutely contrary to what I believed, but I needed to make money because we got a percentage or something. It was like you went door to door raising money, an anti-candidate campaign deal. I don't even know what it was. To be honest with you, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was like 19 years old, maybe 20. Heck, no, I was older than that. Shit, I was 22 maybe at the time. Yeah, so anyways, you get driven around and you get dropped off. You know, you have a clipboard and sort of a script. You know, like Osberg, those kind of things. So I know what it's like. So this guy's out in the middle of nowhere with nobody around, right? He's just, it's creepy as shit what we're about to talk about here. Oh, and there's something else I wanted to show you guys. There was this image going around. Well, we'll show that one a little bit later. From what we have at this point, it appears that this is localized incident, that he ran into a psychopath and that the psychopath killed him and cut him up. Madden had been walking door to door soliciting contributions for citizens for a better environment when he was last seen Wednesday. The organization contacted the sheriff's department when he didn't show up at a rendezvous point Wednesday night. A farmhand discovered parts of Madden's body Friday morning near about 2.5 miles away from the place where he was last seen. The farmhand had gone to a roadside ditch to remove 2 trash bags and found that the body parts, when he picked up a bag and it split open, exposing a leg, the bag also contained the man's pelvis and another leg. A second yellow bag nearby contained Madden's upper torso, sheriff's deputy said. The head and arms were not found. Ivanovsky said it wasn't clear whether Madden's killer was someone who lives in the area or was passing through. Madden had been stabbed several times in the back and chest, investigators said. Ivanovsky said someone apparently used a large, very sharp instrument to dismember the body. Yeah, and this article here was so large, and this is where I was able to map it out. 2 strolling residents and a pet dog discovered more of James M. Madden's remains, including his head, along a rural Racine County road Tuesday. A man and his young son found the head in a ditch. I mean, you probably scarred that kid for life at that point. I mean, isn't this the craziest? We're getting into the Dahmer category at this point, right? A man and his young son found a head in a ditch on the south side of 8 Mile Road, 1 block east of 108th Street. It was 2 feet off the road, said Racine County Sheriff Lieutenant James Ivanovsky. It was very much in the open and easy to see. The discovery occurred at 10:30 a.m. as a search team, with the help of a tracking dog, explored a nearby area for parts of Madden, whose torso and legs were found in a town of Norway Field, June 29th. We believe that the head is Madden's. It's already been taken to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office, where we hope to have that confirmed, Ivanovsky said. He said it was hoped the identity could be confirmed through dental records. Madden 24 of Whitefish Bay was last seen alive the night of June 27th near Highway 45 and 5 Mile Road while he was soliciting door-to-door for environmental group, for a group. The head was found just east of where the search team discovered other human parts Monday. It was one of 3 body parts recovered Tuesday. Authorities found that they believe to be Madden's left hand and arm after a wandering neighborhood dog, which pulled a piece of human arm from brush bordering 8 Mile Road Monday, made 2 more discoveries Tuesday. This same dog discovered multiple parts. Ivanovsky said a deputy on regular patrol saw the canine shortly after dawn Tuesday in front of its home on 108th Street. Deputy Caroline Madsen thought the dog had a stick, but when she approached the animal, she found it had an arm. Can you imagine this shit right here? Wow. Later, the dog returned to the search area and discovered... Yeah, we know all about Dahmer. We don't need to have you explain it to us. Thanks. Later, the day returned to the search area and discovered the left hand while deputies watched. Fingerprints used. Ivanovsky said a pathologist in Milwaukee would use fingerprints to confirm whether the arm and hand were Madden's. With Monday's and Tuesday's recoveries, authorities said they had obtained all of Madden's limbs and his head. With those parts, Ivanovsky said the pathologist should be able to determine within a few days exactly what killed Madden, except for what may come in the pathologist's report finding the additional body parts hasn't revealed much more about the killer or murder, he said. It's funny that people need to say, well, hey, Dahmer, he ate body... Yeah, we know what Dahmer did. Dahmer's a whack job. Go watch the Stone Phillips episode where he interviews Dahmer in prison with his dad. Okay? That's all you need to do. Just watch that one and you'll know all about Dahmer, who at the very end, because during the interview he was describing a box that he had a head in his house, and that his dad had the box in his hands and was going to open it, but his dad said, I don't need to look and see what you got in your box. And then as the interview was ending, Dahmer points over to a box that's in there, and he goes, hey, yeah, the head that was in the box, it's like that one right over there. Look at that. Look. It was crazy, right? It's wild, right? So with Monday and Tuesday recoveries, authorities said they had... Oh, I've already got that part. Let me get down here. It doesn't really narrow our investigation. It actually makes it a little more complex, he said, adding that detectives... Now, here's the thing, is I think we're going to get to the guy who killed him, but I think this guy was a budding... Like, he would have became a serial killer. I don't know if he was one, but the shit he was doing is... And what's amazing, it's right around the same time Dahmer was doing stuff. Literally, and in the same, general area, basically. Same state, I think. At least I think it was. Hold on, let me just make sure. Yeah, it's Wisconsin. Right, that's what I thought. Yeah, so this is in the same state. This is in Wisconsin right here. So let me, I got it all mapped out. Yeah, let me show you this. So here's what the guy was doing. He was dropped off right here. So hell, we could almost go on his journey here. He was just right here, walking down the road. For some reason, they thought that's a great neighborhood to drop him off at. I mean, I always got dropped off in neighborhoods where there was a lot of people. Anyways, he walks down here, and then at residents in this area noticed that, you know, he went to their doors, and this was on June 27th. This is the same day that he's been dropped off, right? So let's see if they gave a time in that article. I think they probably did. So number 2. No, that just says residents report Madden visited their homes, okay? Then right down here, about 7:30 p.m. So he was dropped off here at 4:30, and then he made his way around these homes here. I mean, man, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, you should drop them off in dense areas so they can cover more homes, not this kind of shit. But maybe they thought these people would care more about the environment out here or something because they live in the rural areas. So at 7:30, this is where he was last seen alive by some residents that he tried to, you know, generate some funds from, support for the cause right there. Then he disappeared from right there, right? And that was on the 27th. Then on June 29th, right around in this area right here, so we'll go down to Street View here. This is where some farmhands, and who knows exactly where, maybe just off the side of the road right there, that's where they found 2 bags. And it had the torso. So just picture a body with, you know, just the torso and the pelvis. And that was separated too. And legs. So 3 different things. So it was legs, pelvis, and torso, right? And that was on June 29th. They noticed that's the first body parts. And then there was no body parts found for days, really. I mean, that was the number 4, and let's see, number 5 is right here. Oh yeah, so a dog brings home an upper arm to like one of these homes right in this area. I don't have the specific house, but on their map it looked like it was right there. So it was a pet dog brings home an upper arm, okay? And that was number 5. Then that was also on the date of the 9th of July. So we're looking at 10 days later is when, or actually more than that, 12 days. 12 days after he went missing, the dog brings home an upper arm. Then I believe on that same day, let me go to 6. Come on, 6, where are you? All right, there. At noon on the 9th, a tracking dog, after they bought a tracking dog out, found his lower right arm. So probably from his elbow and his hands, right? Or maybe his hand wasn't even part of it. I don't know. But this is the area right here. I mean, we can go down the Street View again. Just somewhere off the side of the road, just dumped. Easy to see. Dogs tracked it down. Then on the 7th, that same dog that found the upper arm came home and said, "Hey, Dad, look at this one." He found the left arm. So the dog got the upper arm. I'm not sure which side of the arm that was. Let me see if it says that specifically in the article here. Yeah, that was the upper right arm. Okay, so it got the upper right arm, and then over here it got the left arm. So obviously the arms were put in, sort of a similar location, I guess, so the dog was able to find them. We don't know where he got them from, but the dog brought them back home. I mean, I was thinking of Savannah in there going, "Wow, good doggy," you know. All right, then on the 10th, so the following day, a man and his son find his head. Just kind of off the side of the road over here. I mean, what a nightmare for that kid. Jeez. And then what was the 9th one in here? Hold on. And then at 10:30 on the 10th. Okay, now I gotta check this out. This one says 9. Let me go look at what this chart said. Hold on a second. Tuesday, pet dog runs from bushes with a hand. Okay, I put head there. Yeah, so a dog runs out of the bushes here. I don't know if it's the same. Oh, I did put hand. I don't know if it's the same pet dog or whatever, but another dog runs out of the bushes and has a hand in its mouth. Is that crazy or what? So you have this neighborhood with all these pets running around with body parts, people finding body parts. It was almost like Easter egg hunting, but it was with body parts. I mean, it was crazy. Let me go to that second page there. See what they got. Okay. The most recently found external parts were located about 6 miles north of where Madden's torso, pelvis, and legs were found. The owner of the dog that discovered the body's arms Monday and Tuesday are out of town, and neighbors are caring for it. Wow. So they were out of town and let their dog just walk wild, and it was bringing body parts home? Jesus. The dog returned to the search area Tuesday morning as deputies searched the area. All right. So there you go. And then just 29 days later, murder charges pending. A town of Raymond man was arrested. I actually looked up this guy's name, and the address is the same as they have listed in these articles. It's still the same because he hasn't been home since. A town of Raymond man was arrested Thursday and will be charged in the dismemberment death of a Whitefish Bay man, Racine County District Attorney Lenny Weber said. Weber said she expected to file a charge today of first-degree intentional homicide against the 42-year-old suspect. The man is a suspect in the June death of James Michael Madden, 24-year-old, whose dismembered body was found in June and July in 3 rural areas. Madden disappeared in June while collecting for Citizens for Better Environment, and an environmental group. Weber said a search warrant executed last month at the suspect's home brought new evidence that tied everything together. She declined to reveal a possible motive. When officers arrived at the suspect's home, they knocked on the door but did not receive a response. They then entered the home, Sheriff Robert R. Roner said. Roner said the suspect did not resist and might have been asleep when officers entered. The man was alone in the home. The suspect declined to give a statement to investigators. The man was arrested based on statements by a citizen, the sheriff said. Roner would not reveal the content of the statement. Authorities spent about 30 minutes executing a search warrant, the second executed at the house, Lieutenant James Ivanovsky said. Yeah. And here's the thing is, the house where they executed that search warrant at is right here, watch. Alright, I should have gone right there. It was right here. Boom. Right in this area. So if I go... So look at that. He was last seen alive right here. And look where the guy that killed him lived, right here. And now, there's another house that's here. This house here wasn't there. If you go back even to... That's why I think this guy was a new serial... Like, he was just going to start off being a serial killer. I mean, there's no way in hell. He was so stupid. He put all of the bags and body parts all around his neighborhood. Well, of course they're going to look in here, you idiot. Okay, so anyways, this is about 2000. There's no house there. And so what I did was I went down to Street View here, and I realized that this address here is not the one that's listed in these articles. It's this house back here, and you can actually see it if you go down to Street View here. There's a little sign sitting there. If you zoom in on it, you can see it says 11739, and then if you open up this article right here, it says 11739 5 Mile Road. Okay, so knowing that, then you know that somehow this guy thought he would, he walked all the way down, the canvasser walked all the way down, the victim, here, and got to the house, and then apparently, I don't know if it was in, we'll just keep going through the information, but it's crazy. But look out where he lives and where all the body parts. Some down here, right there, and he's right there, and he's also right where he was last seen. He was probably looking at the map in the paper going, oh my God, he's last seen 400 feet from my house. To many who met him, Joachim Dressler is described as a pleasant man, or maybe it's Joachim Dressler, is described as a pleasant man, not someone that even, ever suspect as a murderer. He seemed like a nice family man to me, said next door neighbor who didn't want to be named. He was married and even had kids, this guy. He's been a good a neighbor as any, the man said. As far as I am concerned, he was a gentleman. Dressler, 42, of 11739 5 Mile Road, was arrested Thursday pending charges of first-degree intentional homicide in the dismemberment murder of James M. Madden. Neighbors and acquaintances said they were surprised last week when Racine County Sheriff's Department named Dressler as a suspect in the brutal slaying. Many remain surprised to learn of his arrest. He's always been a real nice guy, said Raymond Municipal. These guys all sound like the people describing the Hart family. He's always been a real nice guy, said Raymond Municipal. Judge Glenn Stage, who said he was invited to the Dressler home with a group of about 10 people earlier this year to talk politics. He's very politically motivated, Stage said, adding that Dressler's interest at the time focused on tax issues. Dressler also was a customer of Stage Junkyard at 9135 8 Mile Road. He's intelligent. He has a good job and a nice house, said Stage, who was also in jail for failing to clean up his junkyard as ordered by the court. Dressler has worked off and on since May 1989 as an elevator repairman at Northwestern Elevator Company, Incorporated. Wow. Surprised I didn't have to do one of the cases that I've, two of them that I've worked on where, people get killed in the elevators. He seems like he'd be perfect for forgetting to let people know that he turned off the safety mechanisms. The official declined comment on Dressler or his work record, only saying Dressler previously worked for Otis Elevator where he was laid off. Anyways, that's where the house is. Now let me go. Here is another recap of it. This is James Madden right here. He's the guy that was canvassing. He's the one that was, cut up into bits by a psycho. All right. James Michael Madden, 24, of Whitefish Bay, was discovered murdered June 29th when his torso, pelvis, and legs were found in yellow plastic garbage bags at a farm in the 4100 block of Britton Road. That was about 2 miles from the junction of Highway 45 and 5 Mile Road, the area where Madden was last seen at 7:30 p.m. 2 days earlier. Madden had been walking in the town of Norway that day to solicit donations for citizens for a better environment when he failed to appear at a rendezvous point. His co-workers reported him missing. On July 9th, a pet dog let out for a walk in the area of 108th Street and 8 Mile Road, returned with a piece of Madden's right arm in its mouth. A subsequent search of the area with a police dog located the lower part of the arm with the hand attached. The next day, the same pet dog found a piece of Madden's left arm and a severed left hand. On the same day, 2 residents strolling along a road found Madden's head in a ditch along 8 Mile Road near 108th Street. And they made a map on that day too. Okay, so here he is right here. Doesn't he just look like, I mean, there you go, everybody. He looks like he's a brother of Dennis Radar, and who's the other guy? I mean, my God, they're just, why don't they just come up with here's a generic outfit for Halloween. You have to look like this. If you want to be, it's like, who's the other guy? Dennis Radar and the Green River Killer. Who's that guy? What was his name again? Yeah, I guess he does sort of have a Kemper look too. But yeah, Gary Ridgway, right? All right, let's see. Let's just look at these guys really quick. Gary Ridgway. Actually, he didn't look quite like that. He does wear glasses, though. So you could kind of look at this one here. Well, actually, he looks like his brother. Okay, let's be honest here. All right, and then we're going to do Dennis Radar now. Yeah, there we go. So he doesn't have he's losing his hair. That's his older brother right there. Okay. So, yeah, they typed in Ridgway. It's like I might as well play the. Yes, Ridgway, 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 Ridgway.
20, down 5 at a dung bear, 30, and 30, and 30, 25 at a dung bear, 30. You want to put 30, sir.
If you see somebody else type it in, you don't need to type it in.
25 at a dung bear, 30, 30, now 5, I'm 35.
And there you go. There's Kemper. So as long as you have glasses and some whacked out hair, you can be a serial killer, all right? A rural homeowner accused of murdering a fundraiser who knocked at his door was quoted Friday as saying he shot the stranger in the head. Listen to this one. He's saying a rural homeowner accused of murdering a fundraiser who knocked at his door was quoted Friday as saying he shot the stranger in the head accidentally, then put the victim's brains in a garbage disposal to conceal the evidence. Joachim Dressler, 42, a father of 2 children, was charged in circuit court with first-degree intentional homicide of the young man whose dismembered body was scattered in the farm field 6 weeks ago. Racine County authorities said Dressler was under suspicion since July when investigators confiscated guns, knives, saws, and literature at his 17-acre farm in the town of Raymond. James Michael Madden, 24, of Whitefish Bay, was last seen June 27th at homes across the road from the farmhouse soliciting funds for anti-pollution group. Court documents said Dressler told a friend he and Madden were discussing a mutual... See, this is the witness here, watch. Court documents said that Dressler, this guy right here, the psycho, told a friend, I think a neighbor, and Madden were discussing a mutual interest. Oh, wait, yeah, so he told a neighbor that he and the fundraiser, the victim, were discussing a mutual interest in firearms. When this sounds like that same idiot. You remember that? What state was that in? The carnival guy? Oh, yeah, I was just walking behind him, and boom, I shot him in the back of the head. I did it 3 times in a row to 3 different people. But I mean, it's just a coincidence. See, what he's trying to claim here is exactly what I tell everybody. I don't even care. If that's really what he did, if he accidentally shot James Madden, accidentally, and his first thought was to chop him up into little tiny bits and place the body parts all around town, you should serve life in prison without parole just for doing that, because you are a whack job. Okay, I don't want you anywhere near society at that point. All right? Okay. Court documents said Dressler told a friend he and Madden were discussing a mutual interest in firearms when, while Madden was testing a rifle in the backyard, he was shot accidentally in the back of the head with a pistol as Dressler was clearing its chamber. Right. The documents filled... I think probably meant filed by investors. Wait, let's see. The documents filled by investors said I think filed by investigators. Wow, filled by investors. That's just so off. The documents filed by investigators said they found videotapes. That's what I think they meant that, right? Do you guys see that there? Filled by investors? Wow, what were they investing in? That's crazy. You had investors filling boxes up at the police station? That's wild. The documents filed by investigators said they found videotapes and newspaper photographs in the farmhouse depicting dead humans and animals. District Attorney Lenny A. Weber said she hadn't viewed the confiscated material. She said investigators told her it included pictures of people who appear to be dead but couldn't confirm they were snuff films showing people being killed. Dressler's attorney, Terry Mitchell, declined comment. Dressler was held in lieu of $250,000 bail. Judge Dennis Berry scheduled a hearing. I'm not sure why they gave him any bail at all. Sheriff Robert Rohner said authorities decided to make an arrest Thursday after investigators still waiting for lab reports on the confiscated evidence received oral evidence Tuesday from someone identified only as a neighbor and friend of Dressler. Court documents said Dressler told the friend he removed Madden's brains and disposed of the organs in a waste disposal. Yeah, see, this guy, I think, was like, I want to be a serial killer. I want to, oh, wow, it's not really that great. And then he threw all the body parts all around town, right where he lives, leading it right to him. Let's see. Joachim Dressler avoided the harsh lights of television cameras Friday during a hastily scheduled court appearance concerning the murder of James Madden. Dressler's attorney, Terry Mitchell of Milwaukee, didn't want to talk about reports that his client wanted to avoid a horde of reporters and photographers who were at his first court appearance. Let's see. Shackled at the ankles and clad in orange jail uniform, Dressler 42 quickly and quietly answered questions from Algrim, answering with a series of yes, sir, and no, sir. That's correct, sir. Dressler told Algrim he understood his rights, probably the judge. Because Dressler waived his preliminary hearing, originally scheduled for Tuesday, Algrim ordered him to stand trial on a first-degree intentional homicide charge. Dressler said nothing as he was handcuffed to another prisoner and led back to jail by 2 Racine County Sheriff deputies. Sheriff deputies said plastic bags used to wrap the body were traced to Dressler's home. Let's see. Madden was last seen near Dressler's home. That some of his body parts were discovered 2 days later in Norway Farm. Yep. Also confiscated, according to deputies, were numerous pictures of dead people, videotapes of male homosexuality, and a film. And Hey, for the censors out there, I'm just reading what it's saying, okay? And a film thought to depict actual deaths. Dressler was arrested after a neighbor and longtime friend told sheriff deputies that Dressler had admitted killing Madden in an accidental shooting. Deputies said the neighbor reported that Madden was shot in the head and that Dressler dumped Madden's brains down a garbage disposal to destroy bullet fragment evidence. Dressler was arrested without incident after a sheriff's department SWAT team surrounded and entered his home on a warrant. Dressler was found in the bedroom, sleeping, deputies said. Dressler pleads not guilty. This is October 16th, 1990. Joachim Dressler pleaded not guilty Monday in the dismemberment murder of a young environmental worker from Whitefish Bay. Although Dressler has undergone neurological testing and mental examination, a plea of not guilty by reason of mental defect or disease wasn't used in Dressler's brief court appearance. Let's see if it has anything in there. Yeah, it just gets, I'm going to fast forward. So then it goes about a year later, 8 months later, MUNTS, jurors selected for trial. Okay, so there he is. Looks like he's a pretty tall guy. Dressler had homosexual pornography and wife. I think this is his wife, you know. And I don't know why they put wife over here. I don't understand that. But anyways, this is the trials begun at this point. The dismemberment death of a young environmentalist was similar to satanic rituals, but homosexual satisfaction was the motivation for the killing, a pathologist testified Monday. And no, that's not saying, everybody, that if you're gay, that's what you're doing. This guy was a psycho. All right? This is just a psycho here. Jeffrey Jensen, the Milwaukee County medical examiner, said evidence shows Joachim Dressler, 43, killed and mutilated James Madden, 24, of Whitefish Bay for sexual enjoyment. Although the injuries may be consistent with a satanic type of death, it's my opinion that it's a homosexual... This is a quote here, okay? Although the injuries may be consistent with a satanic type of death, it's my opinion that it's a homosexual homicide, Jensen said, okay? Dressler, a mechanic from the town of Raymond, is on trial in the Racine County Circuit Court on a charge of first-degree intentional homicide. I mean, it took me like 8 hours to get all this together, but it was always so interesting that I just kept going. It's wild. Yeah, good for you, Discerning Light. Excellent. Yeah, we've all watched the shows. Remember the one case we had earlier in the year? It was so disturbing. Or maybe it was even last year. Do you guys remember the one? God, it seemed like they were abducting... They had like a van or a bus and they were abducting. It was a husband and wife duo. And they cut the girl's head off and the wife would put lipstick on the head and he would use it on himself. I mean, it was like really one of the most disturbing things we've ever heard of, right? Do you guys remember that? I don't know if you guys... It's in one of my videos, but she literally... would put lipstick on the head for her husband so he could sexually gratify himself with that. I mean, that just shows you the depravity of mankind. I don't even know what case that was, but it was really... Well, a lot of you are new here, so you're newer. Yeah. And again, I put the disclaimer at the beginning. If you're triggered by any of this kind of stuff, absolutely turn the don't watch. All right. Well, it's just one of the real true stories out there. Anybody can. I might cover something like that again. This one isn't too far off. Yeah, I don't remember when it was or anything. I couldn't even tell you what day it was, or I don't even remember the name of the couple that was doing it. If Jules is here, she'd remember. Yeah, let me see if I can do a quick search. I don't know if that's it. Is that it? Yeah. There might be a couple out there that do it. That name didn't look familiar. Yeah, we'll try to find it some other time. But yeah, so they linked the plastic in the home. Let's see, token fiction. The tale of a kite in Joachim Dressler's home came from the same type of plastic bags used to wrap a murder victim's body parts. The wrapped body parts were found in a Norway farm field June 30th, 1990, 2 days after Madden 24 of Whitefish Bay solicited environmental contributions. Weaver began calling witnesses Wednesday to describe weapons, bloodstains, tools, and literature found during a search of Dressler's home and Madden's death. Dressler's attorney, James Madden of Milwaukee, disagrees. Madden contends there are several variations between the kite tail and the body bags. He also argued that many homes contain the type of guns, cutting instruments, tools, and literature found at Dressler's home. Racine County Circuit Court Judge Gerald Patacek allowed Zutlau to testify as an expert in the manufacturing of plastic bags. Weaver contends that Madden probably was bound at the ankles and wrists and may have been stabbed before he died from a gunshot wound to the back of the head. She has argued that the fatal shot came from a hollow point .32 caliber bullet. Gillette said a partially full box of such bullets were found in the basement, along with a handgun capable of firing such ammunition. Suspected blood stains were found in the basement near the furnace, in numerous spots around Dressler's desk and some computer, according to Gillette, and home computer. He said blood stains also were found in the upstairs laundry room on a washer and dryer. The blood came from Dressler, according to Matthew. He said the defendant seriously cut his foot in the basement and also bled from a chronic skin condition. Dressler's trial now is expected to continue into next week. According to Patacek, it's also likely to run late Friday afternoon after the 12 jurors and 2 alternates voted 12-2 against a Saturday session. Okay, a sheriff says Joachim Dressler challenged investigators to prove it when they suggested he killed a young man whose body was dismembered and dumped in a farm field. Sheriff Robert Rohner testified Tuesday in Racine County Circuit Court about the death of James M. Madden, who police said was tortured and killed at Dressler's rural home where investigators found homosexual literature. Rohner said Dressler admitted being homosexual, which District Attorney Lenny Weber argues was a motivation in the attack on Madden last July. Judge Gerald Patacek recessed the trial briefly to talk privately with Miss Weber and attorneys for Milwaukee police concerning a demand for investigators' files on this week's discovery of discovery of dismembered bodies in Milwaukee. So here's where it gets kind of interesting. See, right now, look how weird this is. It says, Judge Gerald Patachek recessed a trial briefly to talk privately with Miss Weber and attorneys for Milwaukee police concerning a demand for investigators' files on this week's discovery of dismembered bodies in Milwaukee. Patachek then rejected a request by Dressler's attorney James Madden to subpoena the Milwaukee police files. Madden said his client might be exonerated if there is a link between the two cases. Madden, 24, of Whitefish Bay, disappeared while knocking at doors in Raymond area, soliciting funds for an environmental group. This is where they start. They're trying to make a connection to Dahmer up here. Miss Weber said she had no reason to think Madden could blame the Madden slaying on Jeffrey Dahmer, 31, who was charged Thursday in Milwaukee with killing 4 of the victims whose remains were discovered Monday in Dahmer's apartment. So his attorneys are trying to get that in there. Judge 1 opened secret probe on possible murder link. So they're saying they won't open it up, but I think they did do it later. A secret probe at the same time. Defense lawyers for a man accused of shooting and dismembering a young environmentalist cannot present evidence to a jury about the body parts of 11 males found last week in Milwaukee. Joachim Dressler's lawyers tried unsuccessfully Tuesday to begin their defense of the charge with accusations against Jeffrey Dahmer, who police said confessed to killing and dismembering 17 males. Defense attorney James Madden said he wanted the jury to hear about the similar decapitation and mutilation methods. Well, doesn't that just sort of, why do you want to hear about that? Your defendant already said that he shot, well, at least he told the neighbor that he shot the victim with a gun, and then you got rid of his brain in the disposal. I guess you'd have to discredit the neighbor. I mean, why would the neighbor make something like that up, I guess? Patachek also rejected a request by Madden to prevent testimony about Madden's alleged drug use, saying it wasn't relevant. The 24-year-old Whitefish Bay man disappeared June 27th. Patachek previously prohibited jurors from hearing about the Dahmer investigation. Madden died of a gunshot wound to the head, and his remains were dumped along rural roads. The Milwaukee victims were killed after being drugged, and portions of their dismembered bodies were kept in storage. All right, well, here he is. That's him right there. And a mechanic in whose home police found homosexual literature. See, this is, times were different. This is 30 years ago, okay? But I'm going to read it what it says instead of everyone having these little comments about, hey, that's not really... This is what they were writing back then, okay? A mechanic in whose home police found homosexual literature was convicted of torturing and killing a young man who knocked at the door while soliciting funds for an environmental group. Joachim Dressler, 43, showed no reaction as jurors returned their verdict Thursday after deliberating little more than 2 hours. A blueprint for murder and mutilation was found in Dressler's collection of male pornography, videotapes, and death and torture and literature about homicide investigations and autopsies, District Attorney Lenny Weber said. Dressler was charged with first-degree intentional homicide and is sentenced September 13th by Judge Gerald Patachek in Racine County. James Madden, 24, of Whitefish Bay, vanished in June 1990 while going door-to-door as a fundraiser. Portions of his dismembered body began showing up in farm fields. 2 days later, Potacek refused defense attorney James Madden's request to tell jurors about the discovery, July 22nd, of dismembered bodies in the Milwaukee apartment of Jeffrey L. Dahmer, who police say may have committed 17 murders. Potacek said he found no relationship between Milwaukee and Racine's killing. Matthew said there were several factors on which to base that. Well, I don't have the second page, but there you go. Judge to reveal details of probe. See, look, they even have him with a picture next to Dahmer right there. You see that? What the hell happened? Let's see. Racine County Circuit Court Judge Gerald Potacek said Tuesday, this is, where are we at now? September 4th, 1991. He hopes to soon reveal the details of a secret probe into purported link between suspected serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer and convicted murderer Joachim Dressler. Potacek's announcement came in the wake of a decision by the Wisconsin Court of Appeals which ruled that Potacek should have considered requests by news media attorneys to review portions of his inquiry. Although the appellate court directed Potacek to hold a hearing on the news media request, the judge said it might not be necessary. He said the details could be revealed as soon as Milwaukee authorities decide the public disclosure won't hurt the prosecution of Dahmer. Then 10 days later, Dressler gets life term in most vicious murder. So let's see if this breaks down exactly what was going on here. A judge on Friday sentenced a man to life in prison without parole for killing and dismembering a young environmentalist who knocked on his door. The murder is the most vicious and aggravating crime that has been seen in my history of 20 years in Racine County. Racine County Circuit Judge Gerald Potacek said in sentencing. It makes other crimes you read about in the paper pale by comparison, said Potacek, who invoked a state law allowing judges to set parole eligibility beyond the 13-year minimum for Wisconsin's mandatory life prison term for murder. A jury deliberated less than 2 hours, August 1st, before convicting Dressler of first-degree intentional homicide in the June 1990 death of James Madden. Madden disappeared in June 1990 while soliciting for funds for his Citizens for a Better Environment. His dismembered body was found in plastic garbage bags along rural roads over 2 weeks in July 1990. During the 3-week trial, prosecutors said Madden was bound. See, listen to this. Now we're getting the details of what they said happened. Prosecutors said Madden was bound, hung upside down from a mechanical hoist in Dressler's garage, and apparently tortured before he was shot in the head. His skull was crushed, and his brain, heart, liver, and kidney were removed before his arms and legs were cut off, and the remains put in plastic bags, prosecutors alleged. Potacek told Dressler he could not find words to describe the horror of Madden's death and dismemberment. You picked a victim who was particularly vulnerable, Potacek said, recounting Madden's efforts to solicit donations. It was clear he was yours for the taking if you wanted to, and you did. I wonder where, like, his children were and his wife, because this is after, this happened after 7:30 at night, you know. So it seems like the wife and kids would have been at home. Maybe he just kept them from the home. Prosecutor said Dressler was motivated to kill by his fascination with homosexual pornography, torture, and mutilation. But in his first public statement Friday, since his arrest, Dressler calmly maintained his innocence and vowed to appeal the ruling. Notwithstanding the verdict of this court, I am not guilty of this crime. I don't know. I mean, I guess he could be one of those, you know, random people that's innocent, right? But how? I mean, it's like it was right there. That's where he disappeared, too. They found evidence in there. Now here's a little thing, but I thought it was interesting. Law says Dressler can't get life without parole sentence. The judge who sentenced Joachim Dressler to life without parole for a dismemberment murder recently learned the state doesn't allow such a penalty. I mean, how would he not know that? Racine County Circuit Judge Gerald Potacek said Monday he'd done some research on the law governing life sentences. Potacek said he was motivated by a letter from a supervisor with the State Department of Corrections. In the letter from Jerry Youngworth, Potacek was told that Dressler's sentence of life without parole was not in accord with the law. All right, so later on, the judge ends up giving him a 60-year sentence, and then he's eligible. So then I was like, thank you, Judge. You used your brain there. He's not getting out. He'll be 103 or something, shit like that. A circuit court judge dismissed any chance that Jeffrey Dahmer carried out a grisly... Here's that probe revealed here. That Jeffrey Dahmer carried out the killing. Racine County Circuit Judge Gerald Potacek Wednesday released 73 pages of secret testimony taken last summer to determine if Dahmer played a role in the June 1990 dismemberment. Dahmer's arrest for killing and dismembering 17 people in Milwaukee came as Joachim Dressler was being tried last July for Madden's murder, which was alleged to have happened at Dressler's town of Raymond Home. Dressler's town of Raymond Home? Yeah, that's another shitty sentence there. Okay, here's the bullet points. Dahmer lured victims... Oh, let's start down here. Madden's cause of death was a gunshot wound to the head. Dahmer's victims were strangled. Dahmer lured victims to his residence, while it appeared Madden was killed in rural Racine County as he was soliciting for the environmental group. I'm sure Dahmer might be opportunistic like that as well, though. Dahmer preserved skulls and other parts of some of the victims. Madden's body parts were found strewn in ditches. No body parts were found in Dressler's home. Madden's brain was removed by sawing off the top of his skull. The skulls found in Dahmer's apartment were intact except for tiny holes believed to have been done by a drill. Dahmer told police he used the tool as an attempt to turn his victims into zombies. Jeez. That's what I actually remember that. Hell, you should get a hold of Lori Daybell. You know, maybe they can work on something together there. He's dead, but if he was, boy, that would have been a good team, huh? You know what would have been cool is Lori Daybell might have actually stopped this guy from killing people. Because she would have just said, hey, listen, you don't have to kill these people to turn them into zombies. They are. As a matter of fact, this one right here, his name is Nick Schneider. Man, she could have been a hero to everybody. You know, befriend Dahmer and just tell him that people are zombies, and he'd go, oh, yeah, they're a zombie. But then he'd exact his killing pleasure by killing the zombie to free... Yeah, so I guess it's just a never-ending loop here. We're on it. We can't get off of it. Dahmer would have killed them to free the soul that the evil spirit had taken, the body over. Oh my God. Yeah, I wonder who that Nick Schneider guy is. Although Madden and Dahmer's victims were decapitated, other incisions were significantly different. Investigators also said Dahmer's mode of travel was either bus or taxi. They said he did not drive a car, which would have made it difficult for him to get to rural Racine County. According to the documents, detectives even checked out several rumors that Dahmer and Dressler came in contact with one another. That would have been kind of weird. Dressler's employer, Northwest Elevator Company, serviced the elevators at Ambrosia Chocolate Company, where Dahmer worked. That's interesting. But records show Dressler never worked on Ambrosia's elevators. Dressler also never repaired the elevators in Dahmer's apartment building, investigators said. The owner of a restaurant near Dahmer's home told police the two killers patronized his business, but he said he never saw Dahmer and Dressler together. Okay. And thankfully, the judge denied visitation of his kids and gave custody to his wife over here that you see in the background. So he doesn't ever get to see his kids. Thank God. I mean, hi Dad, how's it going? Have you sawed off any heads lately? I mean, I don't even know how that conversation would go. Oh, and here's the a judge ordered convicted killer Joachim Dressler to serve 60 years in prison before becoming eligible for parole. Racine County Circuit. This is 1992. All of this is in like a 2-year period. Dressler, 44, formerly of the town of Raymond, is serving a mandatory life sentence at the Waupun Correctional Institution for murder and dismemberment of an environmentalist. Right? Okay, and that was 1992. He tried various appeals over the years, and then even in 2019, right here, the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, denied. So, thank you. He's in there forever. He's exhausted all appeals. He's done. Oh, there you go. Yeah, did you find those pretty interesting there? I just happened to do 2 Dresslers. One was a victim, one was a killer. But one of them popped up on my screen when I was looking at the other one. So then I marked that down and looked at that one, and it was crazy. Never heard of either one of them. Never heard of them. You'd think you would have heard of this guy, but it might be because he's not a serial killer. But he definitely could have turned into one. I think he just was so dumb. Like, he was like, oh, wow, I've seen these things. Let me try it. And he got kind of into it. And he did it. And then he just sort of dumped the body parts all around by his house, like rookie 101 stupid mistakes, And he got caught easy. But he definitely had the mentality of it to do those things. Oh, by the way, I do have a picture here. That's one of them. This was one of the articles. Their dog sniffing around. Gotta hope that's not the dad and the kid who found the head. Man, wouldn't that be weird? Man, that'd be crazy. Hey, he just did his own thing there, William. Just did his own thing. Yeah, well, this case was a lot bigger than the other one that Gritty Gret said with the guy that got burned in the car. That his name was Joseph Dressler, not related or anything, just had the same last name, but he's the victim. So in that case, I mean, I can what I can do is a recap really quick for those of you who just got here. It'd take 2 minutes. Well, maybe not 2 minutes, but yeah. So Joseph Dressler, 1978. He was at a homecoming event. He worked at a bank. He was going to be, escorting the homecoming queens or whatever. He was on a float earlier. I guess in the parade, he was driving around an older model vehicle. He perhaps had a can of gasoline with him. We don't know. While he was there, two kids came up to him. One of them had a knife, forced him into his vehicle. Apparently, they went with him. They had him drive all the way out to a property right next to where Orville and Bernice Kinzel lived. They were awoken by him screaming, "Help me, help me, help me." And he got into a pickup truck, drove down this road, met him wherever he was burning. They had a glove in the car, took the glove off, patted him down. He ended up having third-degree burns over 90% of his body. He told police that same story about two kids forced him into the car. Then when he was at his vehicle, after they stole money from him, they doused him and the car with gasoline and set him on fire. And then he dies later. And then they tried to convict this one girl. What was her name? I can't remember her name right this minute, but yeah. Well, let's see. What was her name? Oh yeah, one thing that was interesting is that girl in that case that they were looking at, she actually lives right here, this Joanne Hunger, whatever her name is, in this trailer park now, even though she lived all over the place. Look how close it is to all these other, it's just crazy. But anyways, he died there, and then this girl here, when she was 15 years old, right around that time, said that she did it, or she was the driver of the vehicle and knew 6 other people, but police, just before trial started, realized that she was lying, and she passed the lie detector test, and they set her free. Okay, but then just 8 years later, she killed somebody in a drunk driving accident. And then also the wife of Joseph Dressler, the victim here, she remarried to a guy named Louis Sindel, and I think they all lived together right here in this house. This is from 1987. They were living here, but while living there, apparently one of their kids also killed somebody in a drunk driving accident. Because she got remarried to a guy named Louis Sindel, and one of his kids killed somebody in a drunk driving accident. Or it's not really, I don't really call those accidents, So there you go. That's that case. Hasn't been solved. All right. Now we'll go up to the case of the killer Joachim Dressler, who murdered James Madden. James Madden. All right. So on June 27th, 1990, he was dropped off right here to canvass a neighborhood to raise money for an anti-pollution fundraiser. Okay. So he's dropped off right there, and he walks down this street, and then he talks to some residents here. They remember seeing him, and then he kept heading down this direction. And then right around in this area, two residents remember him right around 7:30, talking to them to try to raise some money. And that's the last time anybody saw him. Then 2 days after that, on the 29th of June, they found in 2 yellow bags a torso, pelvis, and legs in yellow plastic bags right around in that area. Okay, then 12 days later, at, let's see, 6:30 in the morning, a dog brings an upper arm home here. But I guess the residents were out, but maybe a neighbor saw the dog, and it brought home an upper arm. And I think we determined that was the upper right arm. Then, actually, it turns out the following day it brings home a left arm. Okay, but in between that time, on, let's see, where is that? 6. I think it's to the left. All right, a tracking dog right in this area found a lower right arm. So the dog must have brought home the upper right arm. Right there it is, upper right arm, and this one says lower right arm. That was on the 9th. This also was on the 9th. So the pet dog brought home the upper arm to there, and then a tracking dog found the lower right arm right there. Then on the 7th, that same pet brought home the left arm. Or not, that's number 7, but on the date of the 10th. So the following day, he brought home a left arm, okay? That was number 7 in the order. And then number 8 here, on that same day, the 10th, a man and his son find James's head just right off the side of the road. Then on the 9th location here is also on the 10th, another dog runs from the bushes with a hand. So, I mean, there's all these dogs finding body parts, dropping them all over the place. I mean, it's just crazy shit. Then, not too long after that, they were very interested in a guy that lives right here, and it turns out he ends up being the killer, Joachim Dressler, living in this house right here. And, you know, this is even the same shot that you see on the media, just to, you know, obviously it's clear because this is a 3D model of it. And apparently he hung him upside down, tortured him, you know, cut his head off, top of his head off, took his brains out. I mean, this guy, a total psycho, right? He's a psycho even if his original story is true. Okay. So there you go. That's it. He got sentenced to 60 years in prison, and then he's eligible for parole. Unfortunately, he'll be 104 years old at the time. And that's just eligible. They'll probably go, nah, no way, man. I hate the compassionate thing. You know, when they go, oh, he's sick, you know. For compassionate reasons, we're going to let him out. What do you mean? What does that got to do with anything? You know, if somebody has like a life in prison sentence and he's sick, all of a sudden you go, oh yeah, for compassionate reasons we're letting... Well, he had no compassion for the person they killed. Plus, what does it have to do with anything? It's not related. The sentence is he dies in prison, right? Okay. So there was the recap. Now here was something that somebody sent me on Facebook. Okay, I wanted to show you this. So they sent me this image right here. And they said they found it. It was found in a, what do you call it? In a book they bought at Goodwill. Hey, thanks, Sarita Hilly. So they found it in a book they got at Goodwill. Now you can see a guy right here. Looks like he has a red shirt on. And then there's another person laying face down. Those are hands behind their back. Their legs floating. Looks like duct tape there. Now people said, oh, I know what that was. I thought maybe this is from a movie. You know, that's what I thought. That this is a still frame from a movie. And it did pop into my head that maybe it was from the movie Deliverance. That actually popped in my head. And then somebody sent me, oh, they said it's from Deliverance. That's Burt Reynolds. So after this, I watched the entire movie last night because it's a great movie. It's pretty, it's wild. But this isn't from the movie. This doesn't happen in the movie. This whole thing right here. It's not in the movie. Okay? And so what I did was I did my own. I took this image and colorized it correctly. And now you can really see it way better, right? I mean, you see how, like, if you know what the hell you're doing, you can make things look better. So I took that image, and now you can see, like, this guy's got a reddish shirt on too, arms behind his back. Looks like there's some duct tape around the legs right there. And then this one looks like he's sitting, maybe some water dripping off his chin. And then there's duct tape on the knees there or something. And that's it. So we can spend and there's a shadow right here of a guy, right? So there's a shadow here, and people go, oh, he's got a shotgun. How do you know what the hell he's got? Okay, don't pretend you know what he's holding. You cannot tell. You can guess all day long. All right? You can guess all day long. You can see a guy here, maybe, you know. That's it. There's no way to tell what he's got there. Yeah, it's really obvious what you're looking at here. This guy's laying face down. His head looks like it's up a little bit because I can see the back of his head right there. His arms are behind his back, and they're tied, and those are his hands, fingers right there, right? Then his butt would be kind of like in this area. Then his knees would be here. Then his legs go up, and you've got his feet right there, right? Then this guy is sitting in the water, and his knees are bent, and they're down here. These are right here, the feet from this guy. Jeep, who the hell are you talking about? Oh, come on. Don't start inventing shit, man. Come on. That's just... Yeah, we can all wonder everything. You can't tell anything else in this image. This guy looks like he's holding something. Sure. That's it. All you can see is these two guys. You can spend a million years trying to guess what you're looking at, and it's just, it isn't going to do anything. Now, this image is obviously a picture of what somebody was holding, because you can see this dark area down here, right? Yeah, right here you cannot tell anything. What he's holding in his hands. This is a person, right? I mean, I guess you could even say it's possible that's not a human. It just happens to look just like one with the shadow. But I think it is, right? We don't know what this is, and we're not going to be able to tell. We'll never be able to tell what that is, right? Oh yeah, he'll do it. Yeah, remember, because he was asked to run for vice president. I don't think it looks like a female at all. I mean, this is from the 70s. You know, it could be a guy with long hair. It could be a black person with an afro and a goatee, maybe. Could be a white guy with, you know, the big hair that puffs out like they did back then. Who the hell knows, right? We have no idea what this is right here. Could be anything. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's useless to sit there, because if this was a big case, for example, and you put this on the internet, they would come up with every conceivable thing that this is what's going on here, without any proof whatsoever of what they're seeing. So what you do is you just look at the things that you know for sure to be real. That does look like this is probably a guy standing here. I don't know if this, I don't know either if this right here is smoke that's in the scene, or is it something that's blown out in the image, or is it in the actual environment, and then the person takes a photograph of the photograph, but the smoke's in the room with them. And is this shadow right here related to the person taking the photo of the photograph. Yeah, it could be anybody. So at this point, you can look at this, and that's all we got. Hopefully they turn that over to law enforcement, and they can say, wow, that looks like two guys, and it might mean something. It's pretty creepy, right? But it could be a scene from a movie on a screen that somebody took a picture of on a flat screen television, right? So just keep that in mind too. Title of what book? I don't even know what you're talking about. In the back of what? What are you talking about? Well, you go watch the movie, and when you find the scene, let me know, okay? It looks like something, the image itself, the coloring and everything looks to me like between 1974 and like 82 or something. What the hell is this? What if that's an alien, everybody? Wow. Now, if that shadow is an alien, and if that alien came from another planet, is it not possible that this dark shadow is actually the door of the craft opening? Disprove that. Tell me that's not possible. I don't think so. With duct tape. That doesn't make any sense, though. Yeah, I just watched Deliverance last night. It's not from the movie. There's not one scene where Burt Reynolds is tied up. He gets, what's weird is I didn't remember that he was the cool guy, but then he got taken out of the scenes, with an hour to go. Like he got, in the rafting accident, his femur broke, and like, it was pretty disgusting, really. They just put like a big slab of meat there, and, he ended up living. They weren't sure if he was going to lose the leg or not, and they never resolved that part, but yeah, it's a cool movie because it seems kind of real. Like the acting is good. And man, that movie was filled, just top notch, everybody. Like I think Ned Beatty's in there. You got the, what's his name? Angelina Jolie's dad. I always forget his name. I shouldn't forget it because I like the guy. But and then the guy that was the cop, John Voight. And then the cop that was in the Sergeant in Beverly Hills Cop. He's a big time actor. Yeah, basically everybody in it. Yeah, I said Ned Beatty, yeah. I don't even know who that is. Who's Archer? Like who's Archer? It's funny how people think I'm supposed to know stuff. Like, Archer is obsessed with that movie. Well, who's Archer? That's Voight. But John Boyd, he's a good actor, too. Jodan Baker. Eyeshide. Yeah, Walking Tall, Jodan Baker. You really think that's in that movie? How about this? You go watch the movie, take a picture of this scene with your camera, and send it to me. All right, Darlene? Who's Archer? I'm still waiting for that. I have no idea who Archer is. I want everybody to go out and try to find that scene in a movie. I guess Madison Hughes isn't going to tell me who the hell Archer is. Oh yeah, it's your butler? Awesome. Wish I had a butler. One of these days, Robin. One of these days. Yeah, John Voight is, he's really young in that movie. He's in, like, the Transformer movies, too. He's been in a million movies. Yeah, so that's what he looked like here when he was in Deliverance. He looked more like that, right? And this is what he looks like now. He's a conservative person, you know. Makes it hard for him in Hollywood because, you know, everybody in Hollywood knows best, you know. We all got to listen to what they have to say. Does anybody care? Does anybody give two shits what a politician says? I'm just telling you what I think sometimes because I want to. You know, you don't have to care what I say at all. But does anybody really give a shit what actors say about politics? Like, what? They don't even have a clue what they're talking about. They live in these mansions and shit. They're just full of crap. Yeah, and there he is. That's with Angelina Jolie, and he's her dad. A lot of people didn't know that, but that's the reality. I think they get along better now. I think there was a time where they weren't really getting along. It looks like he could have been on Star Trek, doesn't it? Look at that look he's got there. Oh yeah, wow, they just showed, hold on, they just showed that guy, he's the banjo player. Look at that, that's the adult banjo player. Look at that. He actually looks better now. Man, when he was that banjo kid, whew, wow. Man. Yeah, this guy right here, Ronnie Cox. See, he's really, I mean, this guy's been in tons of movies, this guy. And that's what he looked like in the movie. Yeah, he was in Beverly Hills Cop. Remember that? Oh, yeah, and he was in RoboCop. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Burt Reynolds is pretty good in that movie. Very realistic actor. There you go. There's the team right there. John Voight, Ronnie Cox, Ned Beatty, and Burt Reynolds. I mean, that's like A-list central going all the way through there. I mean, I would say Ned Beatty's probably the lesser of them all. Him and Cox probably. I don't know. But I mean, high-end actors there. Yeah, it really is. It's awesome. I just watched it last night. I recommend watching it. If you haven't seen it, if you've never watched it, go watch it. If you haven't seen it in years, go watch it again because there's a lot of stuff you forget about. What's weird is the part where Burt Reynolds says that the Cox character, you know, that actor, that he got shot when he fell out of the canoe, but it looked like he just intentionally jumped out of the canoe. It was a weird movie. I always had a different perception of it. I thought it was more that they escaped. Like, I mean, they did escape, but it's more also that they sort of covered stuff up. They did it kind of dumb, too. Because they're putting in a dam. It's going to be a lake. So what they should have done was covered any bodies with stones. Like, bury it, then cover the whole area with stones, and then maybe put dirt on that so it's not discovered. Then when the lake's filled, it'll hold it down. Yeah, that might be kind of fun, Robin. All right, so that's your assignment, everybody. If you can go out and find exactly where this is from, here's what I'll do. If you find where this is from, I'll send you a hoodie, okay? But you have to give me the exact shot, okay? I'll send a hoodie out. So that's your project. Don't say, hey, maybe this one. Look it. You got the picture right here. You know what it looks like. What I'll do is I'll post it in the this image in the community section, and I'll make it for anybody, really. It doesn't have to be just for channel members. Are you a channel member, Lanky Tor? I don't know. I mean the actual, like the member. I'm in the podcast. 3 Minute of Mystery is with Gray Hughes, John Lorden, and Mike Morford. Mike Morford also does the podcast The Murder in My Family and Criminology. He's also in another one. He's in like 5 podcasts. It's crazy. I don't know how he does it. I'm in 2. 3 Minute of Mystery and Scene of the Crime. Yeah, well, everybody should go post this around and say, does anybody remember this scene? Because this very well could just be a real photograph that somebody took out there. Yeah, he's pretty mellow when he's interviewing people and talking. I could sound like that myself if I wanted to, but I've got a show to do. If I talk like this the entire show, I think you guys would fall asleep within 10 minutes. In fact, I can see snoring currently in the chat. Yeah, it could be just a photo. Who knows? But it's my coloring work that I'm more proud of. See, if someone did this one, and they were pointing out stuff, but you sort of ruin it. Now it's a little bit harder. You can still see what's going on and everything. But this one is what it looks like, you know. And what you do, it's so simple in Photoshop. You just take this in there and you say auto color, and boom, it sort of figures out. I don't know how the hell it does it, but it must be able to detect slight variances. I mean, that's dirt, grass, little water there. Craziest cases I've ever seen was Walter R. Hibbert. In the early 20th century, Walter Hibbert, after just marrying his wife, killed her after she asked for a glass of water. Dragged her to the sink and stabbed her to death, then dismembered her entire body. But he got too tired at one point and left his house and headed to Canada. He then turned himself in. Yeah. Anyways, this is a real story that I'm telling. Yeah. I might have to do a video on Walter Hibbert. Because remember that we had the entire, who was that? Who's out there that went and got that document? They actually literally called the library up, and the lady said, "Oh yeah, we've got the documents of when he was in the mental institution." So he was in a mental institution for 2 years, and then he served 25 years in prison. Then he got out of prison, got married, had kids, and he died in like 2007 after doing this in, what was it, 1939 or some shit like that. You gotta live that whole life after cutting his wife up into bits. That's crazy. Let me see. Where do I got that guy? Yeah, Walter Hibbert, right there. Yeah, there it is. Boom. Yeah, I got this. Look how much I have in that folder on him right there. Yeah, like this lady sent me this census that has right there, Walter Hibbert that's in the State Hospital for Mental Disease. And there he was, right there. You could see it. Yeah, she gave me tons of stuff. He was married 1968. Let's see, 1913. Yeah, I think this is one. He was married to. That doesn't sound right. Couldn't have been that. Yeah, there it is. 1940, I think, right? When he slew and decapitated his bride of a week last November. Yeah, it was 1939 is when he did this. And he lived all the way to 2007 after serving an entire life sentence, 25 years, then getting out, getting married, having a bunch of kids. And he lived literally like 50 years after, or 40-something years after he killed her. I mean, after he got out of prison is what I mean. So he had a whole nother life he got to live. Is this it? Let me see. I gotta find that document. Yeah, I don't know where that is right now. Is it this one? Hold on. No, there he is right there. This guy right here. Hey, he's got the glasses again, huh? This guy right here, this is his wife that she got pregnant, and it seems like it was kind of like a shotgun wedding. This is Walter Hibbert right here. And it was like a shotgun wedding, and he said he had urges to kill, he said. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is the document. Look at this thing. There he is, right there. Looks crazy as a loon just looking at that. But it has all of his information, like his record while he was in the mental hospital. Isn't that wild? Like, one of the Freak family members found this. Does anybody know who that was? I'll probably can just look it up in my email. Let me see if I can find that really quick. Not many people emailed me on Walter R. Hibbard. Yeah, it's actually Robinson, not. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was somebody named Paulette Clement. I haven't seen her ever in here, but if you're out there, Paulette, thank you very much. If you're still out there and you still do what you do, I'd appreciate some help on some of these cases we're doing. Because man, that was amazing research you did. Oh, and thanks, Terry, for the PayPal. I just noticed. Thank you. Yeah, it was amazing the stuff she found. When you go through here, and it's just... And he did other stuff too, like he burnt down his house. Something like that. Or he tried to, or God, whatever the hell. You guys remember that? That was a long time ago when we covered this. He stated every 2 or 3 months he had a desire come over him to kill someone. A patient was brought here this afternoon by an officer from Hampden County Superior Court. At time of admission, patient was quiet, well conducted, but had a peculiar, dull, apathetic manner, what we would call today a flat affect, and talked about the killing of his wife without any show of emotion. And he smiled at times when discussing it. He stated every 2 or 3 months he had a desire come over him to kill someone, but no one in particular. He denied that he ever felt any outside influences forcing him to do things, or that he ever heard voices talking to him. He signed his mailing card and went toward H3 without causing any trouble. I think I definitely gonna have to go make a video on this one again, because that was just part of a live show. But I think it'd be worth it to do a 15-minute video on it. That's one of the craziest ones I've ever seen. Like, he lived 80 years, basically, or 70 years after he killed his wife. But only 25 of that was in prison. So he got to live 45 years just, start a new life, have kids, whatever. Forget the fact that you absolutely destroyed your first wife. September? Well, I might have covered him again in September. That doesn't sound right. That it was that recent. It could be. It just doesn't sound right. Like, it feels like I did that a long time ago. Hold on, let me just see when these emails were. That'll be a better... Yeah, maybe that was. Jeez. So really only about 9 months ago, right? Well, I guess it's not 2 seconds ago or anything. He was in a prison. He was in a psych hospital first. Then he was deemed sane, and then I think he just pled guilty and served 25 years in prison, and must have been a model citizen because he got out right when he's supposed to get out. It was almost exactly 25 years. And then he just started a whole new life again. And, I think he was only like 40 something when he got out. Okay. Anyways, I think that's it for me, everybody. I've been on here for almost 3 hours now. So I appreciate your support doing the donation wave early on. That was nice. Oh, what's weird is this is where he lived, and the whole building's gone. They probably just said, oh, screw this. Let's just knock that building the hell out of here. I mean, it's rare to knock a whole freaking building down, right? I mean, I wonder if this shows up anywhere. If I go back to 1997. Yeah, look at that. It's there in 1997. That doesn't look... I don't know if that's there or not. Looks like it's there in 1997. Yeah, no, it's wild, the story. Yeah, I'll just go through and I'll do a script version where I actually just say it and then I put photographs I'll do it sort of how Lorden does his show, you know, just put down a story, tell it, and then maybe at the end I'll break from that and just tell you my thoughts, you know, but so all right, everybody, thank you for showing up. I'm going to go back to the second favorite spot. Well, maybe I'll go back to I think I have more exploring to do. Oh god, I think I deleted all those. Oh, you idiot. I don't have my bookmarks anymore for my flyby spot. I think it was right in there somewhere. Does anybody know the name of that place that we used to go to? Oh man, that sucks. I've lost it, man. I lost the spot. Thank you, Daudio Caspian Horses Rock. Man, I might never be able to find that spot again. Well, I could do is just find it on another episode, and maybe that's it right there. That music's pretty good with this. Look at it. Got all this red rock out here. Oh, you know what I was looking at the other day on here was on Earth. Look how crazy this is right here. See, this is the Cayman Islands right here, right? You guys want to see something wild? Look at this. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can move it up so you can see this at the bottom down here. Too much. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it down here. Can you? I don't know if you can. You actually read any of these numbers? I know they're tiny for you guys, but right here, you're at 32 feet above sea level, right? Now watch this. Right there, we're 1 foot deep. Now watch when I go like this. Watch this. 20, 54, 127. 300, 433, 1,000 feet deep right there, 2,000 feet deep right there. And I'm just going to keep going. Like, look how wild this is. When I get right here, I am 20,000 feet deep right there. Just that little bit off of that island. So what that probably is a volcano. Let me get rid of the... That's what that is. Hold on, let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of the water surface. I mean, it's basically a volcano there. But it's 20,000 feet deep. Not much more than the width of the island, right off the edge there. So 20,000 feet is almost 4 miles deep. Just that close to the edge of the Cayman Islands right there. And there's the deepest part of the ocean, I think 36,000 feet. You need to go down there and see what's up. Of course, you'd crush. You'd probably have to build something that's like a sphere that can go down there, but yeah, like right there, it's 20,000 feet. Let me just see how far that is. I bet that's not far at all. So from right here, where it's 20,000 feet, it's 20 miles. That's it. So just 20 miles off the coast, it's 4 miles deep. Basically, if you just took a dive, you get in a submarine, you're going downhill the whole way. Anyways, there's the geological exploration portion of the show. I just can't remember where my spots are anymore. Let's see, it's called... I know it's kind of near Bryce Canyon somewhere. Okay, there's Bryce Canyon. Now we'll just try over here, see what's going on. This music makes me tired. Alright. Let me say thanks to... I had to reopen up my program to see what was going on here. So thank you to Billy Boy Blue, Darrell Greggs, Rochelle Black, Belinda became a Megazoid channel member, Kit Kat, Sarah Beth Colagrass, Raven, Miss Skiss, Curious Georgia, Zozo, Sooner History, Tammy Sutherland, Gloria Batari, Lori Staggs, Sarah Beth Colagrass again, Linda Howe, as in Linda Moldenhow of the Cattle Mutilations, Half Rudder, David Myers, Brandy Alexander, Jessica Schubach, Billy Boy Blue again, Lori Staggs, Sooner History, Linda Howe, Kika Keys, thank you Dadio, Caspian Horses Rock, and Charlie Girl became a member, and so did David Meyer. Alright, then Miss Skiss, Maybe Sunshine, Billy Boy Blue again, Sooner History, Curious Georgia, Michelle Nicholas, Chody William, Sarah Beth Colagras, Katina, man, my eyes are like really bad at this distance. Christina Kubacek, Miss Skiss, Michelle Nicholas, Sapphire, Gene Fish, Sarita Hilly, Dadio Caspian Horses Rock, Dadio Caspian Horses Rock, and Zozo with about 50 cents from Australia. Oh, Zozo. Thank you. That's what I'm worth. Yeah, anyways, thank you guys very much for showing up tonight. Appreciate it. Now we're going to do the flyby. I don't even know what's out here. We're just flying around. Zozo! Be safe out there!
We love you, heart.
Yeah, I think I found a high-res model here. I have to put a pin down there. what happened? Thanks, Mischief. What a scary alien. Wow.
Awesome show as always, Grey Growing Heart. Good night, freaks. Glowing star kiss mark.
Guess I didn't have this moved over far enough. But hey, you know, you got the gist of it, right? Okay, everybody. Thank you all for showing up tonight. And there we go. These are the nurses over here. Yeah. So everybody, don't forget to keep washing your hands all the time. Get the sanitizer out. Basically, just wash your hands all day, every day. And wear a mask when you go out in public. And everything should be good. It sounds... Some people are saying that it's a weaker version of the virus going around. I don't know if that's legit, but that's what I heard on the news. So, hey, let me... there's another thing, too. You know, I want you guys to realize something. That this is really going on right now. I mean, I actually had a conversation with my dad. And my dad, you know, he's really one of the smartest people that there is, okay? And he's not really particularly political at all, but he's literally saying that, like, you can actually see the agenda going on. It's crazy. And he's a Democrat, like he's always been a Democrat, right? So the thing is, he can see it. Like, this is stuff being sold, it's not real. Like, when I'm saying that, I mean about the current administration. Like, for example, hydroxychloroquine, right? Like, they wanted that not to work so badly that somebody created that report that came out was absolutely fake. 100% fake. And the publishers that put it out had to retract the entire thing. Okay? So then you sort of wonder, like, if hydroxychloroquine actually does work, the left-leaning media of MSNBC, CNN, they'll be culpable for the deaths of people because they purposely misled society. Okay, they'll say, oh, well, it was the report. No, you fought really hard every second to try to make sure that everyone knows that hydroxychloroquine's dangerous and can kill. Okay, well, that report was bogus. Okay, it really was bogus. And the thing is, everybody out there just needs to realize that right now is a political season, and every single thing. Have you noticed that you don't seem to be talking about how there was 2.7 million jobs created when they were expecting 7 million loss in this last quarter. That the stock market is only 3,000 points off its all-time high right now. Okay, so the government's kept stuff going here. It's working. Okay, so when you hear just one pile of shit after the other, it's not reality. Okay, it's not reality at all. Just really look into stuff instead of just believing what somebody said. It's scary times. I was actually talking to my dad how scary it is, what's going on. It does remind you of those propaganda states where the entire media is for one side, and they're going to do all they can to get rid of somebody, even if they have to put out lies the whole time. It's unbelievable. Now, I understand not liking somebody, okay, but the truth that's coming out, that they put out as truth, isn't truth at all. It's absolutely scary shit. I literally sit around just going, wow, that's unbelievable. People actually believe that. Anyways, you can take it for what it is, but look into stuff on your own. Even if you don't like somebody, why don't you check to see what's actually happened? That's all I'm asking. Yeah. I don't know. Those don't work too good. Because anytime I talk about politics, people go, oh, good, and they get all upset because it doesn't match what they believe and everything. And it's just never turns out well. I always have to end up deleting those. This one I just want you to look at stuff that's being said and see if it's accurate. And don't look at the same source to see if it's accurate. Because they won't even correct it when they get it wrong. That's the sad part about it. You know, here's an example, okay? I'm going to throw out an example. Like when Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. When he said that, how much did they cover that on CNN and MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, or any paper? Did anybody cover that at all? Imagine if Trump had said that exact sentence. Seriously, not just, if Trump had said that exact sentence, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. He would sound like a racist, right? But he didn't say that. That was somebody else who said that, right? And so you'll never hear about it in the media. And then when Biden said that 15% of the population are terrible people in the United States, nobody brought that up either. Not one soul brought that up in the media. How come? Now, other than Fox News, right? See, the thing is we're so lucky. See, people hate Fox News out there. There's a lot of people who hate them. But I am so grateful that they exist. Because without them, it would be just a dream of the propaganda state where you're only getting one version and everybody would be blinded to another reality out there. Okay? Because look how they cover up for all the crap that Biden does. Biden is literally, they're showing him more now. He's standing up on stage, looking at teleprompters, speaking, going like this, and there's not a soul in the room. Okay? And they're only doing that to make him look like he's statesman-like. He's up there going, yeah. That guy can't put two thoughts together. There's something, I feel bad for him, because just 5 years ago, he was a lot sharper. I think he literally does have dementia, and I think everybody knows that he has that. They're just not willing to admit it. Because if I'm just saying, if Trump said the same kind of weird stuff like that, he just says stuff that you think he's an asshole for saying. But if he said the stuff that Biden says, just clueless shit that he's lost, you would probably, the media would be tearing him apart on a daily basis. And you know that's what would be happening. I know I went on this tangent right at the end of my show. Isn't that great? Yeah, there's going to be, You know what? I'm glad. I think it was okay to say, hey, let's get back to work, but keep social distancing and wearing masks in mind. Okay, it worked. That shit worked. Now, what doesn't work is having protests and rioting where everybody's standing right next to each other and they're not wearing masks. Okay, that doesn't work at all. Oh yeah, I love Greg Gutfeld. You guys should go onto YouTube and watch Greg Gutfeld's monologues. He knocks it out of the park just about every single time. Tucker Carlson had a good one the other day. But man, just listening to Don Lemon, my God, how can anybody like that guy? He is a lying sack of shit, is what that guy is. Literally. That's all he does. The entire show is lie to the American people. You listen to it and you just go, wow. Yeah, that's one way to look at it, Don. And that's allegedly Don. Okay, that's just my opinion of you. I think you are a horrible person, Don Lemon. I know you don't give a shit about what I'm saying and you never watch my show, but I'm just letting you know that I think you're a terrible human being. Well, yeah, the N95. I would say if everybody wears something that covers their face, it protects everybody. If there's one idiot that's not wearing one, you made it so everybody else isn't safe. Okay? However, if everybody has an N95 mask on, you're protected from all the idiots who didn't wear one. Right? So the thing is if I was you, I would try to order an N95 or P95 masks, try to get a couple of them. And every time you go to the store, just put it on, and then maybe, you're not going to go to the store for a week, so let it sit in the sun, and, the virus will probably be gone in a week off of your mask if it had any on it in the first place. And don't touch the inside of the mask, the part you're putting on your face. Just take it off from the outside each time. Keep it in a plastic bag, maybe. I don't know about that. Yeah, I get negative comments all over the place. The problem is I'd like to just be able to say what I think all the time. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to do that. And I think my thoughts are pretty rational. Like I think it's embarrassing that people are apologizing for criticizing rioting and looting. Doesn't that just seem weird? That people they were criticizing the rioting and looting. And then they got backlash from people. So then they said, I'm sorry, I just didn't get it. I should have realized that rioting and looting is great. No, it's not. It's not good. Da, 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 da. I just think it's strange though that people feel the need to do it because somebody explained it to them with this little tricky sort of logic maneuver about, oh yeah, it's just they're not living under the same more social contract. Like that Noah, whatever the hell his name is. Give me a break. Jesus Christ. You're a multi-millionaire. You don't even have a right to talk at that point. You're doing great. It won't matter if even if you owned a bar and it got destroyed, it wouldn't matter to you. Okay? But how about the people who spent their life's money to buy a bar and got it destroyed, wiped out by a bunch of morons? Okay? What do you think of that? Yeah, I mean, you just wear a mask. Now, if I was somebody, I would try to find an N95 mask if you can buy one. Because then it doesn't matter if there's idiots not wearing just any facial protection. right? So it's weird when I go to the grocery store and I see people walking around without anything on their mouth at all. I feel like you're just so dumb. You're just. And if you're in there and you're not wearing one, that's just the feeling that I get. I'm not saying that you're really dumb that you didn't wear, well, it's not smart. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I think Trevor Noah is an idiot, okay? He's an embarrassment, okay? The shit that he said on that video, I was looking at it just going, wow, what a pile of shit, man. He sold that to all those people. Trevor Noah is a joke. Have him sit there and make it sound like it's okay to riot and loot. Man, he should be ashamed of himself. God, he's a joke. And he's terrible at what he does, too. He's horrible on the show. It's amazing. He has no skill. He's... I don't even know how the hell he got that job. It's amazing. But I can tell you this, he could never lose it. Yeah. And it's weird when they're not wearing a mask, right? Really? God, it's amazing. Most of the people I see wear masks. But it's just that there's always a couple walking around without one. And it just sort of ruins it for everybody else. I think stores should require you to wear a mask to enter. What's wrong with doing that? Like Fred Meyer's or Albertsons. They say, hey, listen, you aren't allowed to come in unless you have a mask on. I don't understand why that's not being done. Just something. Tie a bandana around your mouth or something. Just something. Uh-oh. Oh, my God. That must be Sarah Beth Colagrass in here again.
I like the other voice better, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, right, Randy? Yeah, I also don't like, what's his face? Who's the other guy on CNN that's the brother of the mayor? Chris Cuomo? Jesus. Oh, my God. They say it's not as bad as they say. What does that mean? They say it's not as bad as they say. Yeah, well, I mean, it's killed 100,000 people in 3 months. 108. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, yeah. But maybe, yeah, I've said from the beginning, if you guys remember at the very beginning, I said that the death rate is way lower than they're saying. Now I just used that phrase. The death rate is way lower than what the experts are saying because there's a lot of people that had it asymptomatically, and I thought it was going to be like 0.25%, not 3.5%, which is way lower, but still that's a big number. If you let this thing go wildly and infect the entire population, it really would kill like 1 million people, okay? Especially if you let it get into the elderly population. And one of the things that's really disturbing about the rioting and looting is that the African American population is apparently one of the more vulnerable populations of the coronavirus, and it's it's going to spread even more in that community, and there's going to be a lot of deaths that come from the looting and rioting that wouldn't have happened. And that's just the truth. And you won't know about this for, it's going to be like 2 weeks from now, there's going to be a spike. Speaking of face masks, you too can put a face mask on me using Streamlabs. Just like Sarah Beth Colagrass. Anyways, I hope you guys always get really freaked out when I tell you what I'm thinking. Some of this politics stuff. But think about it like this. I just want you guys to think about this. I don't like... Here's the reality of it. I don't even really like Trump that much personally, but I think he's done a pretty good job, you know? It's weird. Like, he constantly talks about how great he did on everything. That's the part it just bugs the hell out of me, right? But think about it like this. The Russian hoax. Remember the whole Russian collusion? That was fake. False, right? It turned out to be false, right? Then you had the obstruction of justice. That was false. The whole thing, every single thing that they've kept trying to do to destroy his ability to do his job, it's turned out to be false. Okay? And then you kind of go, well, what else is false that they keep saying? Interesting. Then you got this weird situation where the Obama administration, before they left, they were the ones that were unmasking General Flynn, who worked for them, but realized that he knew some of the stuff they were doing, and therefore needed to have him taken out. And the FBI even said, what is our mission here? Should we get him to perjure himself to get him out, or is it to get him in prison? It's really unbelievable. But you know what? You'll never hear any of that reported on CNN, MSNBC, or any of those other channels, because it makes their side look bad. And that's scary. What happened to the reporting? Yeah, they want him, that's the thing. No, it's better to have him in, because he's done a great job. He got the economy going. He got rid of a lot of regulations that really, and the lowest unemployment rate in the African American community, women, every single aspect of it. And then the virus came in. Okay, everybody would like him if his personality was a little bit better, but he's done a good job. Can you name something that you go, God, he sucked at this? Yeah, he took out ISIS. The whole thing. It doesn't matter what he does. He doesn't get credit for it in this media, and I think that's why every time he talks, he has to tout his own accomplishments, because CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, every one of those outlets are never going to say any of the things that he did. Okay? That's just the truth of it. And it's sad. It sucks, too, because it makes him look... It doesn't look good. Oh, really cool. Maybe sunshine. Yeah. And another thing, too, is they go, what about the last... You notice how the media has quit doing the last month of February? Remember they blamed the whole month of February on Trump because he wasn't doing stuff quick enough? Well, the thing is Fauci on the 29th of February, the last day of the month, was saying, hey, everybody, everything's the same. If things change, we'll let you know. Don't change what you're doing. Okay, well, he was following the experts' lead, everybody. Yet he did still stop the flights from China. So get the facts right when people tell you something. Just say, well, you better watch what Fauci said on the 29th, that everything was okay, and we'll let you know if things change. Well, it did. About 2 weeks later, that's when all the shit hit the fan. Okay? And I'm actually telling you the truth here. I'm not making stuff up, where you're just, it's sort of like the show. I try to give you the facts. Unfortunately, if you don't like Trump, you're not going to believe what I'm saying. That's what's sad about our society right now. These idiots coming forward saying, "Oh God, he's a threat to the democracy." Oh, it's just, oh, you mean because he's not doing what you normally would have? Okay, I see. Hey, Kim F. Sharp, that's exactly what I think too. It's very similar. It's incredible, actually. But the problem is you can't say that. People don't want to believe it, The media is controlling what everybody is thinking. And God. I remember when Obama was president, they were trying to remove Fox News as a news outlet. Thankfully, the rest of them stepped in and kept them going. Okay? Which was interesting, because you would have thought that they would have been, yeah, that's great, but they realize they need the foil too. You can't have everybody on the same team, because then it makes for kind of boring news. Yeah, I just wish his personality was a little bit different. That's really kind of the main thing is, there's certain times where, when he kind of mocks being presidential, he'll go, presidential? He'll do like a robot action. A little bit like me when I do that. But sometimes you kind of just have to be that way. When there's a crisis, you've got to really come in. And I thought he did good during the pandemic. He came out and he always gave us hope. Oh yeah, I think this hydroxychloroquine, and maybe, here's the thing, is maybe that first report that came out was totally bogus, and they've admitted it. Go check it out. It's crazy what they did. So maybe it does help prophylactically. We don't know now, because they stopped all the studies once that came out. But, didn't he gave you a sense that, hey, there's some hope out there, that there's some treatments, and it kind of made you relax a little bit in your brain, even though you're just totally vigilant about social distancing, wearing masks and everything. And then he said, hey, we're going to bounce back really quick when this is all done. It's going to be, and it did do that. Go look at the chart. As a matter of fact, I'll bust it out for you. Watch this one. The Dow Jones chart. Let's see. I'm going to put it on the screen here. Watch this one. Gray, I don't really want to talk about it. I don't like it when there's something that doesn't sell you when I... Look at it. It's 27 right here. This is crazy, the Dow Jones. There was 18,000 at that bottom of the trough, okay? Watch this. He said it was going to be a V-shaped recovery. Well, that looks like a V to me. Boom. See that? Look at how high. Look at where it was. 18,591 on that day, at the lowest point, and then right now it's 27. 2 months later. You don't think that that's pretty amazing? Right. And look how crazy that is, because right here before it was 29,232, right? And then right here it's 27. We're almost back to pre-pandemic levels, and it's going to absolutely blow past that when people start every month now. You're going to get positive job reports, and that sucker will be at 32,000, in my opinion. Like, I mean, it's just insane. And the thing is that's the whole thing, is hydroxychloroquine is safe to take. The media made it sound like Trump was killing people because it's dangerous. And that report was wrong. And they tried to put out a report that was false, saying not only was they're saying it didn't work, they were trying to convince people that it could kill you. It's ridiculous. My God. So anyways, the entire I don't know. I always felt like he was trying to be a cheerleader for people and give us hope. You know, even that time when he said the thing that everybody goes, oh my God, what an idiot. When they were talking about how they have, you know, that sanitizers clean things. And he goes, wouldn't it be cool if there was something that we could put in the body that's like that? Okay. You know, he used the word like that could go into your system and clean out your body, right? Which was just a thought that everybody has. Wouldn't it be neat if we could take something that could kind of... He wasn't saying, hey, everybody, let's all drink bleach. You know, if you were so dumb that you thought he was saying that, then I'm sorry. But he never said that, and he even said, it'd be great if we had something like that. It's just unbelievable, man. Every time I'd watch that, and then I'd go watch what people would say later, I was just dumbfounded. They taking it at the worst possible meaning of what he would say and try to tell people that that's what he was saying. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm going to leave this up there because I don't really give a shit anymore. But anyways, here's Chloe. Chloe. Yeah, look at it. Look at it. Yeah, she's so little. She probably only weighs 3 pounds at this point. I know, it's crazy, Kiwi man. They really do. That's all that's going on. It's unbelievable. He makes himself look bad too. Like some of the tweets he throws out and different comments he makes here and there. But overall, think about, you know, I mean, hasn't your life prior to the pandemic, wasn't everybody pretty happy? Like you had a job, things were going pretty smoothly, the economy was moving up, your 401ks were doing well. You know, what was he doing that was... I know, the tweeting, I wish he would just quit it, like you said. It's almost too late to quit tweeting now, though. But I'm just trying to figure out what he was doing that everybody hated so much. In terms of what was going on in reality. Yeah, she's still sitting there. See, that's how little she is. Look at that. Look at that. Tiny. Like that's my, you know, my hand is almost as big as. And I like how her ears now go forward like that. They flop forward. They're starting to look a little bit like Jenny Penny's Genie, the dog. Except that's completely dark. Yeah, he does talk too much. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, during the coronavirus, what it basically would have worked better is if he just had updates with... Well, the thing is, he didn't like... And he was right. I mean, what's weird about his instincts on the stuff that Fauci and them were saying, well, it was right sometimes, because they were trying to push back on certain things, and it turns out where... Some areas, people are starting to go back to work now because we're not dummies. Businesses that open up that have employees are going to make you wear masks. They're going to do social distancing. Everybody's going to have a bunch of hand sanitizer and that kind of thing, right? Just like they do in China and Japan. Have you ever noticed when a pandemic goes out there, every single person walking on the street has a mask on and they're all heading to work. Yeah, they're going to work right there. So there's no reason we can't be doing stuff like that. No, she doesn't totally follow around. She's really, like right now, she's sleeping on the ground. I'm glad she doesn't follow me around because I don't want to step on her. She'd be done. Yeah, opening up school's a little bit weird, but the young people are affected way less. I don't know. It's almost like what they should do is if there's somebody at school that has it, then all the kids have to actually stay at the school and sleep overnight in grade school for 2 weeks or something. I don't really know. It's just kind of a weird thing. It's almost, you know, you have to ask scientists on it. I don't really have an answer to any of that shit. I don't know what the right thing to do is on something like that. Letting it spread in the youth population because they can get over it really easily, but some would die, you know. And I don't want anybody to die, so I wouldn't say something like that. I mean, let's say you had 1,000 kids and they all got it and got better, but 2 died. Well, I wouldn't want any of those, right? So, like 0 is the right number in that situation if you're letting it happen. Yeah, that's why I'm saying you'd have to let them sleep at the school. Did you hear me say that, Randy B? Yeah. Oh, I didn't see. What did Miss Giss say? Didn't see it. Yeah. Yeah, we just need to, and here's the thing, is they're really working quick on the vaccine. Now here's the thing, if they get a vaccine out, let's say in October or November, just record time, or let's say October, right? The media will do all they can to convince people, hey, don't do it too quick, man, it's dangerous, because they know it's getting close to the election. And they'll have to destroy any possibility. They cannot wait. Here's what the media would love. They want the vaccine to be approved in December, not November or late October. You mark my words on that. And if it comes out in January, they'll give the credit to Biden if he wins. It's crazy. You know that's going to happen. It's scary shit, but that's what they do. They really believe that stuff. Well, he came in and he really pushed through the goalpost. I mean, Trump would have had to... You watch. Ah, that sucks. Sorry about that, Miss Giss. I'm just so disheartened by the media right now. I mean, it was a weird conversation with my dad because he's not. He was saying how it is scary, and how it does remind you of some of the weird propaganda shit that was going on in 1930s. Very odd, very strange. So, anyways, everybody, thank you for listening to my rant for the last... Hey, you got the extra bonus hour! Although it never does me any good. It's like a... So, anyways, thank you guys all for showing up tonight. And as I always said, make sure you wash your hands, cover your face when you go outside, blah, 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 blah. Just do it, for God's sakes. Don't be the one idiot at the store that doesn't have one on. Okay, just put it on for everybody else's sake, all right? So that's it, everybody. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector.
I'm a certified human lie detector.
Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector,
Go
my
lonely,
nectar. Professor
go
Greg is gonna
lonely,
give
go
another
lonely.
lecture. Crime collector, freak
Why'd you say
connector.
Lloyd
And I'm
Lloyd
always
Lloyd
gonna
like
be a pup protector. Fool
Lloyd Lloyd
deflector,
Lloyd.
interceptor. And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all. Just remember I'm a typical fucking ginger. I have no agenda. I'm no pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you.
Hello? Mary Lou? Are you there? You're supposed to say, good night, John boy.
I don't want to. You're always so mean to me.
Well, so what? We still gotta do the show. That's how it ends, okay? Good night, Mary. Wait a minute. You're supposed to say it first.
Okay, good night, John boy. You're so mean.
Well, no, just say good night, John boy. You don't have to say you're so mean at the end. Let's just do it the way we normally do it.
Good night, John boy.
Good night, Mary Lou.
You're so mean.
Oh, jeez.
Man, would you two quit that shit? All right, everybody. Be safe out there.